Good evening, everyone. It's after 7, so we're gonna start our meeting. The meeting of Southwick Conservation Commission. It's Monday, October 16th. It's a hybrid meeting. We're gonna do a roll call around the table, starting with Dennis.
Here,
Just say, just give your name and we'll go right around.
Dennis Clark here.
Andy Reardon here.
Norm Cheever here.
Chris Pratt here.
Jerry Patria here.
I'm at the zone over here.
Kevin Solik here.
All right. Okay. So first, actually, do we have any public comment? Let's start with that. Anybody on? No, all right.
Want to get the minutes out of the way?
Yeah, we can dispense with the minutes. We'll go with that first. We look at the minutes of October 2nd. I was able to look them over earlier today. And Andrew, even if you weren't here, you can still make a suggestion on editing. Kevin, sorry. I called you Andrew.
Oh, go ahead.
You can still make a suggestion on editing if
Okay.
you want, even though
Yeah.
you weren't here.
Okay. On alteration plan, 157 Daniels Road. It says Commissioner Clark made a motion for continuance. I made a motion to approve the continuance.
Right. That's a little difference.
I just see one thing on page 1. The very first paragraph. I think you wanted to say Christopher Pratt was appointed as the chair of the committee, not a commissioner of the committee. Or am I wrong?
No, I nominated Dennis as commissioner. I made Commissioner Clark as
That's a
chairman.
That's
That's
a correct
true.
statement.
Yep,
Okay.
I
Check
did
it.
nominate him first. Then he
Yeah.
nominated me back.
No, this is the very first paragraph.
On the top?
That's accurate, because that's what I welcomed him back to the commission. This is his
Gotcha.
First meeting
All right.
back.
Right.
What was your correction? It was in the first paragraph, last sentence.
But I think it's correct as written, so.
Yes, I believe
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It's correct as written.
Dennis, what correction did you want? What? At 157,
Yeah, at the end of the paragraph,
right,
Commissioner Clark made a motion for a continuance. I made a motion to approve a continuance.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, make a motion to approve the minutes as approved.
I was gonna ask on the 662 are unreviewed. Did I abstain to vote or am I confused? I don't have to vote.
Would you like the meeting ID? You wanna write it down?
Previously, it's refused, abstained, I don't know, the proper.
He was talking to us.
Chris, did you hear
word used
that?
there.
What's that?
Andy wants to know if it should, instead of being abstained, it should be recused himself. because-
Yes, that should be recused.
Yeah.
Again, I make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Second then.
All in favor? Go around this from Kevin. We'll do a roll call vote.
Aye.
Ahmet?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Chris? Aye.
Norm, I.
Aye.
Dennis, aye.
Okay. Unanimous. All right. Okay, we have a notice. of continuation, the proposed,
This is the one I think we need to start from scratch because it wasn't advertised properly for the last meeting. Is
okay,
that correct, Gene?
so should I read it out loud?
Gene,
Sure.
was this re-advertised as a notice of intent?
Yes, it was.
Well, should I read out the notice?
Yeah.
Have the notice?
Magic, like there, just say it and he gets it. The Southwick Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing under the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Law C 131 and Section 40 of the Southwick Conservation Commission Regulations and Bylaw, Chapter 182 and Chapter 450 for a notice of intent via hybrid meeting, Zoom and in person. The project location is 81 Plank Grove Road, Southwick, Mass. 01077, map 114, parcel 176. The applicant proposes the removal of a beaver lodge in Middle Pond of Congamon Lakes. Work is proposed within land underwater bodies and waterways. And welcome.
Hello, everyone. Ryan Elton from Arlevec Associates. So last time we had met, I believe there were some unresolved Mass DEP comments and we've addressed those, but just quick recap here. The applicant Frank Grillo owns this property. There's an existing dock system here. He does have a Chapter 91 license for this marina. And over the course of past few years, a beaver lodge has been constructed off the property within the waters, and it's impeding boat traffic to the marina, as well as it's, created shallower depths, those berthing areas. So he's proposing to remove the beaver lodge and lower or excavate the material lower down to adjacent existing grade. This work is located within a great pond, so we did revise the WPA Form 3 with Commonwealth of Mass as the property owner, and a Chapter 91 license application would need to be submitted after in order of conditions to do this work within the pond. Some other comments DEP had were minor. One was regarding status of bank. So bank is located here. They just wanted that change from median or high water. We were previously erroneously calling the buffer something else, but now it's called 100-foot bank buffer. Bordering lane subject to flooding does exist here. However, the definition says outward of bank. So even though we're above the lake within the flood zone, I guess per the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act definition, it's not in the flood zone. But regardless, we're removing material, so we're not having a fill to the flood zone. The material is going to be excavated prior to. There's going to be a silt curtain installed in the lake around that. Has a weight at the bottom of the curtain that keeps it in place. Material will be excavated and temporarily stored on site within the parking lot or live loaded into a truck and then removed off site. DEP did have a recommendation that perhaps a seasonal restriction be put on when the work is done, if the commission feels that's necessary. And I think that we were erroneously showing a 200-foot riverfront area. I'm not sure why that was on there, but that's been removed. And we are staying under 100 cubic yards of dredge material. Anything over 100 cubic yards triggers a DEP 401 water quality certificate. So that hits on all the key points of where we're working. I can answer any questions you guys have.
Yeah, I'd ask you to speak up a little bit because I only have one hearing.
Sure.
Yeah, it says in the narrative, both of the narratives that Arlevec is representing the owner.
It should be the applicant.
It says the owner, and is there anything from the state of Commonwealth of Massachusetts in writing?
So we revised the NOI form.
I know.
Right,
you
so we
did,
would need a
but
Chapter 91 prior to
if
doing
you
it.
contacted the state, because I've been through this before
Mhm.
with the state, and it seemed like it was a more complicated process and they weren't really on board with it. I'd like to see something from the state to see that they are.
From what I'm aware of too, is there needs to be a health hazard. You aware of that? You're supposed to get a certificate from the health department saying,
We went through that before. It's not a health hazard because beavers eat their own poop. And you can swim in that water and perfectly safe. It's not like geese. Geese are a health hazard.
yeah,
We went through this before because they tried to do that. They had the water tested out there. It's perfectly good to swim in that water.
usually where it becomes a health hazard, if they're creating a higher water level or it's getting into someone's septic or somebody's sewerage and making it flow back in. Is there anything like that happening there? Or-
No, so we're not proposing this under an emergency certification or anything. I think Frank had looked into that a few months ago.
From what I'm aware of, there has to be an emergency search to remove a beaver lodge.
But I'd like to get something from the state in writing.
Yeah, so
first of all.
The beaver lodges aren't active right now. They're,
I saw a beaver out there in
And-
the summer.
The other thing I'd like to get is a third-party consultant out there to take a look at that to see what they consider that. It's definitely dredging. There's definitely land underwater involved, but there might be
Yeah.
more than that. I'd like to get somebody with a biology degree, take a look at it and see get their opinion.
Okay.
Maybe from the Commonwealth.
Thank you. It looks like the filing fee is a little inconsistent as well.
It is the Conservation Commission's duty and their responsibility to protect habitat.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it pretty much looks like this is
Yeah.
definition of habitat to me.
Right, even weeds and things are protected, through the state. You can't remove even weeds for reasons such as recreation or things like that. It has to be hazardous to the lake as well. It can't be just for financial reasons or financial burden or for recreational purposes. This is looking like you're asking for financial purposes.
no, there was an existing marina there. He
Well,
has
there-
a chapter 91 license.
Yes, I understand that, but it's no different than it has been over the last 25 years that I've known it. It hasn't grown any bigger than where it was before Mr. Grillo bought it. It's the
Okay.
same as where it was when he bought it less than a year ago.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed since when he bought it, for sure.
So, yeah, I understand it's habitat. We're under the threshold. If the commission wants to do a wildlife habitat study or something, that's fine. That's understandable. But we are within the threshold of land underwater disturbance that can be allowed.
So
Even though it might be originally beaver habitat, it's still habitat for other things as well. Now that it's there, so it's still habitat, even though maybe beavers don't live there. So that's another argument that you might want to look into.
I know the previous. owner-
predominantly addressed to us, there's a lot, have you seen this one? Have you
I
read it?
sent it out to
Yeah,
everybody.
okay,
Yeah.
so I mean, if everybody read it, it's, commission, so. Almost in every paragraph. So, yeah, it's complicated business when it comes to beavers.
Yeah, and I think Dennis has a great suggestion of getting some other input from the state level.
Yeah, if they're okay with it, see what they say.
So I know that the previous owner had issues with, I think they said 4 parking spaces last year. I understand that the water was a lot lower last year as well. But this year, all of the parking areas have been occupied by vessels. So what's the hardship here if you're using those parking spots right now? Right, because do you want to remove the lodge so those vessels can get to their parking spots, correct? So
Docking,
what am I not getting?
That's correct.
Well, they can get there the way it is, right? It's not-
Well, that's what I'm saying.
They wanna- they
I don't know
wanna
if
move the
Mr.
docks, is that the-
Grillo, if you want to say anything.
Yeah,
Um, So you can come up if you want and just state your name and your address, please.
Okay.
Fred Grillo, Lakeman Street.
You didn't sign in when you first.
Okay, first time I've been to one of these meetings.
I believe I
Forgive me.
addressed you. I said, please sign in,
I'll go get it.
okay?
Thanks, Sabrina.
Have a seat, please.
So the only reason why I'm doing this is not because of the poor spots. The docks are hazardous and have been for years. Someone's gonna get hurt, someone's gonna smash into a boat, someone's gonna get in a bad accident, and guess what? It's not on me. Okay, so the whole plan was to move that. Let them get this done, then I was gonna go stage 2 to the state, which I already talked to, about moving it into the cove. Okay, so when you come through that tunnel, you're not gonna smash into the boats. There's 4 accidents this year. Okay, 3 boats got destroyed that parked where the beaver done it, sucked all the stuff in, destroyed them. I had 5 beavers removed. I got a permit to do so. So this is all new to me, so, and I understand what all this conservation stuff, but that's the reason why I'm doing it, I really am. I got tenants that don't want to park on this side because the boats are coming through. If you sit in that parking lot and you watch what goes on there, you won't believe it. Someone's gonna get hurt bad, and I'm gonna say, I tried to move it.
I still think they should put a light up on that pole.
We talked about that so many times.
That's,
before, yeah.
I'm not just doing this because,
No.
it's been,
Right.
as everybody here knows, what I've been told, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
from Southwick originally. It's been a problem for lots of years, okay?
Mhm.
Thing's massive. I mean, it's an island. It's big, but if you look at that, if that was removed, okay, out of there, then we could swing the docks. The docks won't be in nobody's way. There isn't a problem.
Well,
There's gonna
I'm
be,
not sure that you could do that, looking at the property lines. You can't really put your marina in front of somebody else's house.
Well, that's being worked on too, but I did talk to the state. I talked to the state and I forgot her name. I got it written down on the file that I have at the shop.
Christie Hops?
Uh,
Okay, maybe not.
That don't ring a bell.
Okay.
But I told her what I wanted to do. She says, after you do this, you come to us. Then we're the ones that tell you you can move your docks. That's what I'm trying to do.
So there's
We-
gonna be 2 chapter 91s, you're gonna have to
And
basically
I know-
amend the one that you have right now. for
Anytime
the-
you can't amend a chapter 91, anytime there's any sort of revision, you have to reapply.
Just
for
a
new
okay, so
license.
there's 2, or would you just do that in the same?
There's one existing, and if he wanted to modify anything, he would void the old one and apply for a new one.
Along with the dredging?
An order of conditions is a prerequisite to even filing a chapter 91. So we would need local approval prior to.
Okay.
And that's the way that it was described to me. That's why I'm trying to do this. It was infringing on the docks. And like I said, 3 of the boats get damaged. I understand where I am. I just don't understand why this is such a huge deal.
Because our job is to protect habitat.
No, I get it. But how about the guy that comes through the boat?
Well, we've heard a lot of things about, there's always some kind of danger out there.
Yeah, but not like
It's
that.
not gonna eliminate the danger out on the water, believe me.
You gotta
If people are
sit there.
Careful, there's not much of a danger. If
You
people
have
are
to sit
idiots,
there.
Then there could be
It's,
a problem, so.
Norm, do you remember we talked
Whether or
about
not-
this a year or two, or do you remember it? I remember with the previous landowner, this was brought up, but they never filed a notice of intent, but this
Right.
was discussed. I don't remember exactly what was
Yeah,
said,
Didn't
but
go anywhere,
there was talked about removing the
That was
beavers and
Timmy,
getting.
right?
but it didn't go anywhere.
Greg from, he owned that property
Oh, I
before.
know
I don't
Betty,
think it was.
No, it's
yeah.
Betty, yeah.
Betty
Betty,
came
yeah,
last year,
yeah.
and her
Oh, that's right,
reasoning
right,
was
before
because of
it
the
was him.
parking areas, that she
Yeah, I
wasn't
just-
able to utilize 4 parking.
Yeah,
spots,
but
I
was
think.
there anything with unless this was was there anything with the chapter 91 where the dock isn't where it was originally?
I
Or
think
was
it-
that another?
I
That-
think
was that
that
crappy?
is exactly where the chapter 91.
I don't know,
Wasn't
I'm
there
just trying-
something earlier this year where the smaller one was like in a different spot, but then said, Frank
Yeah,
moved
I
it.
didn't know, because when I
I'm
bought
that's
just trying to
this,
remember
Right.
what was discussed
didn't
before
know.
and what we're talking about now.
Right.
you know what I
You're
mean?
learning.
I'm learning.
But anyway, I think that, if you go to the state, because the state owns the lake, we don't do anything on that lake
Right.
without the state's permission. And dredging, anything that we do on that lake has got to go through the state. So get a letter from the state, see what they say about it. And,
I did talk to the state. So,
talking and getting a letter from them.
no, I get that. I just. My hands are clean if something happens over there. That's all I'm saying. I sit there and I watch it. I watch them come through the tunnel. And let me tell you, I go through there with my 25-foot pontoon, you better maneuver. If someone's coming from the other way, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, the marina was there before that new culvert was put in. Once that new culvert was put
Yeah,
in, then the
I
bigger
get
boats are
that.
now coming in and
But
out,
it's-
so it makes
it's-
it a little
I
harder.
mean, everybody here has to admit, it's a problem.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely a
Funky.
problem.
It's tight.
It's definitely
All right.
funky.
And I'm not doing
You
it,
can't, you know. You know, if you look at the regulations and laws, it's maybe. Not the lake that has to change, but maybe, you know, like you're trying to change the marina a little bit. Maybe you lose a few spaces to make it safer, I don't know.
well, it was purchased with them docks, so I don't wanna.
It was also purchased with the beaver out there.
But before you go out and get another consultant, like where second option is get a letter from the state to see if it's worth for you to do that. See if you can get them to support you before you go out.
See, I thought, that this, like I said to you, I sat here with people already, how long ago was that? And things were explained to me a little bit different, and I forgot his name, they call him Mr. Lake or whatever.
Dick Renals,
Yeah, he was all for the whole thing.
I'm sure he is.
Yes.
Well,
That's
Lake
understandable.
Management in total is strongly in favor of shifting the docks for the safety reason, going through the tunnel. Okay, they're very strongly in favor.
Do you guys have a diagram of how the docks would be shifted potentially proposal?
It's gonna-
We would like to,
I feel like it's there for a reason.
how can you,
I would
how
be
can you be in
asking-
favor of it if you haven't seen it yet?
I would have to
If you look at.
see it in the order of condition.
Property line, you can't. Get in front
Before
of somebody
I
else's
would go
property, 'cause
positive
once
to
that's gone,
remove
they're gonna
it.
wanna dock.
Wouldn't you wanna
They
see the
even
new
have it out there.
configuration
It's a
before you
little, yeah,
support it?
that's
So,
a tiny.
That's fine.
but you said you
You have
already
the right to have
supported
it
it,
back there.
We support the concept.
the concept.
You're playing with words.
Well, I can't support a concept. I have to see it on
Right.
paper.
Well, I have no problem with that.
Okay.
And the state's the one that told me to do this first.
Yeah, but when I look at where the beaver hut is, if that does get removed, that, pretty sure that neighbor's gonna wanna have a dock there. That sticks out a little bit further into the lake than where it is now.
No.
They're not?
Mm.
Even if so, the next person who moves in there might, and they
How
still
about
have a
if I
right
bought
to.
the property next door?
There you go.
Well,
But
I'm just saying,
the thing is, and then when you sell it, what happens then? You know,
I
I
don't
mean,
know, it's just, I mean, again, I'm proposing to do something that has something to do with, yes, financial. If I can't use 4 docks, we'll calculate that off my taxes, and then someone's gonna get hurt. The cops have been there 4 times for 4 accidents
mhm.
this year, and there wasn't much boating this year.
It was pretty busy every time I was out.
It's crazy. It's just crazy. You
Yeah.
gotta sit there and you gotta watch this stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen people water skiing at night.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen kayaks out. in the-
No, it's insane. I live on North Pond. I mean, I see it all.
I live on middle, Norm lives on middle.
Yeah.
We see
Yeah.
stuff going on
Yeah.
all the time.
Nothing happens.
I live on
South.
South.
We
Yeah.
understand
Nothing
that.
happens.
They're on South.
No one wants
Yeah,
to go
I
there.
just, I'm not trying to give anybody a hard time here. I just,
Yeah.
up to this point,
And we're
I
not
think,
trying to give you a hard
no,
time.
I just been,
Just let you
I've been, to
Yeah.
me, up to this point, I think I've been misled a lot. And seems to happen here.
Well, let me just say, the mix of the Conservation Commission has changed. Okay? Views on beavers change dramatically with different people on the commission, okay? So understand that, so. Commission's got a different view now than it did a year ago.
Well, he wasn't misled by the commission.
No,
it
no,
was,
yeah,
it
Talking
was-
about the Lake Management Committee.
No.
It
it was
misled you,
also
because this
discussed
commission, you
here.
haven't talked
It was
about
also
before.
discussed here.
It was discussed here.
Yes, it was.
You
With
were-
the previous landowner.
Yeah, with Betty.
Yeah,
That was
she gave me all
Not,
the
not,
documents.
not this proposal, no,
Yeah,
that was,
yes.
that was just
Yeah,
something up in the air, that's gonna, he was not misled by this commission.
But the first step was they were told to remove the beavers. Once the beavers were removed, then you could address the beaver hut. Not to say that it could or could not be removed, but that was, we could dig up meeting minutes.
Yeah,
But I'm
that-
trying to remember what was
Yeah.
said. The first step was they were told you had to get a licensed trapper, remove the beavers, then you can address the HUD.
We did this.
So if he's saying,
No,
what
beavers
Norm
are
is saying, if he was
I don't know if
misled,
we're told of that, but that's.
it was,
Well,
that's what was
the
said
process.
at
They
a
can't
meeting.
remove
We
a
can do it in
beaver.
minutes.
Sorry, you can't remove a beaver hut if the beavers are still there. So that's
Right.
why it
Who
was,
told you that?
it's just, I can't remember if it was Mass
I mean, you
DEP
can
or
trap the
what.
beavers, you can kill the beavers.
Right,
That's
but,
not up to Conservation Commission.
No,
Their
no.
habitat is what conservation,
right, but
protects.
the first thing to
whether
do
they're dead or
is
alive,
to,
it's habitat that
Right,
they.
it's not just beaver habitat, it's habitat for other things that still live there.
But you know, if you can
Right.
get a little bit flexible, you know, go.
I
get
just
the-
wanna
get the
know-
Letter,
How I could do it. Tell me how.
get the letter from the state, we're giving you some direction here, hopefully not sending you the bad direction, because I think a letter from the state is the place to start with. And once you can get them to weigh in on this, we'll have a better idea. It's their lake, it's a great lake, every time we've ever done anything on that pond,
Yeah.
the state's weighed in on it, it's just.
And we've had trouble before in that cove, getting permission to somebody to do a cleanup.
I heard
So
horror
that kind of went
stories.
awry.
No, I heard horror stories.
Even
And
though the
It's
town
it's a beautiful
pays for
cove.
it.
It could be gorgeous there.
Mhm.
Again,
We had somebody illegally do some dredging out there at one time.
I
And they
heard.
pulled cars, they pulled so much debris out of there because Gino from the Brass Rail used to use that for a dumping ground, so we don't know what's out there. We don't really wanna know what's out there either.
No.
just leave it in the.
It would be nice to clean it up someday. I'm not, yeah, I would love
I
to feel
know.
like it cleaned up, it has to be done the right way.
Be nice, no, it'd be very, because it, and this has nothing to do with this. You've seen what's been done already with the property that I purchased. Haven't even owned it a year. Place looks like night and day. I'm just trying to make it look nice, you know what I mean, and function properly.
Well, that's different, what
Yeah,
looks
I
nice
get
to
it.
us, what looks nice to you.
I
might
get
be
it,
different
I get it,
to you.
I get it.
Mm.
I think it looks nice.
But it's gonna take some time, just be patient, try to go through all the proper channels
right.
and, see what happens.
yeah, we'll contact them. I mean, I don't know, hopefully they'll offer an opinion. I'm not sure if they will.
Well,
without an
I think the key
application in
point
front of
here
them,
is, like
but-
Dennis says, that why he keeps emphasizing in writing is that it makes it official. You can have a conversation with somebody over the phone, they're gonna tell you all kinds of stuff. It means nothing, because it's not on
Right.
paper. You want somebody who, what they say is what they write and
I
sign
got
off
this
on it.
lady's name and
So that you
she
can bring
was
that
like
to
one of the
us.
head honchos
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
And
Because
she,
with this particular critter, there's always opinions.
yeah, oh.
Yeah.
yeah,
There are lots of
finding that out.
opinions, but none of them are necessarily what's in the books. None of them are the legal way of method of doing things.
Right.
Necessarily.
Correct.
Yeah, so-
A lot of them are opinions.
Right, right.
Should we address the fee?
I don't think we
Or
need to do that at this time because it's not a neat thing, but it, you know, the filing fee would be a little inconsistent with what would have to happen there.
So we address the fee at a later time?
Yeah.
Continuation for more information.
Right.
Sounds right.
You know, put that, you want a date on that, or do you wanna?
I wanna get back here, so.
Yeah, the next meeting.
Okay,
Yeah,
Meeting.
all right.
it's yay or nay.
You guys set the date on that, so.
Huh?
You guys set the date on that.
Yeah, I don't know enough
Yeah.
about this, that's why they're doing what they're
Yeah, every
doing.
2 weeks.
It's just when I
First
bought
and
it,
third
Betty gave me
Mondays.
some paperwork with it, and in the paperwork, it said she did come here, if this done and that done, it shouldn't be a problem. and Whatever,
And then.
sometimes you make mistakes in life.
So.
If you go back and listen to the tapes, you might hear something different than what Betty told you.
Oh, I got letters that were issued by the committee.
You do,
I got letters, yeah.
the state to get rid of kill the beavers,
What's that?
you sent them a letter? saying-
No, Board of Health. Board of Health gave them the certificate.
Yeah. So it's not from.
No, I'm
conservation
talking prior, when Betty owned it, she gave me some paperwork that had to do with this committee,
Mm.
and it just said that you had to do this, this, and this. I don't know.
She wrote the paperwork.
No, I did.
No,
I
no,
wrote
did not.
like basically what was talked about in the meeting, and
To
so,
trap the beavers, is that what you're?
yeah, and that essentially because we can't have somebody remove a beaver lodge if beavers live there. So the first thing to do was to remove the beavers.
Where did you get that information
I
from?
probably still have it, cause it
Was
was
that
sent
from
to
the-
an email, wasn't it?
They
Bring
had
that
it
Was
done.
that, was it like another consultant, like somebody from the state or something that said that, or would that, it wasn't just us, no, none of us came up with that, it was something.
No,
that
it
told
was-
us.
Folks, there's a whole thing at Massachusetts, you can look it up on Google and it'll take you right to the state webpage. There's an entire section on beaver management. It includes shooting and trapping as a
Right, but not
solution.
removal of
So,
lodges.
you know, it's in there.
They told me
It's
that
in
it's
there,
never
but
been-
it doesn't mean that, you know, whether this commission said go ahead and do all those things. No, it's the state's
Yeah, you can
own
definitely trap
recommendations
and kill beavers.
that actually talks about beaver management. There's nuisance management, there's all
Right.
kinds of different management.
But they just.
And then
dumped
there's,
it-
it's like an onion, layers and layers of different things that you can and
They
cannot
dumped
do.
it onto the local towns, they just.
Yeah, so,
you know,
I mean-
You guys take care of it.
I don't think anybody said kill
But
the
they
beavers.
told me, of course,
You know?
I don't have it in writing, but they told me
Right.
that as far as they know it's never been, they've never been able to remove a beaver lodge or relocate it. Maybe they have since then, that was a long time ago.
It's, and it breaks it up, so lodges are a different issue, beavers are a different issue, so it's all, you guys should, we should have a copy of it here.
I read what you're talking about
Yeah.
online. I
Yeah.
did some research on the whole thing,
But
and
it's
you
a
can
very-
definitely
it
break
Breaks
it
it
down.
down,
Beavers.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely,
It's gotta be an
Beaver lodge.
easy.
Beaver lodges are different. I looked at it,
Totally
there
different,
wasn't
yeah.
anything on beaver lodges. It comes under habitat, which
Right.
is protected.
different,
Right.
It's
exactly,
different than a dam.
right, right.
Right, if it's not causing a health hazard.
Right. I don't think the discussion was much, it circulated more about the beaver itself than the lodge.
Yeah.
At the time, so.
Well, let's see what they say.
Yeah, so we've got a continuance proposed for next meeting, which is
It's on the bottom of your.
Sixth.
I think.
November 6th. Will be sometime after 7 o'clock. Okay, so I have a motion to accept the continuance.
I only have one question, so the fee that was talked about, if say they do come back with stuff from the state and then we make a decision on it next meeting, is there something that we have to address with the fees that were paid and the potential that they will have to pay?
If they're dredging, yeah, they'd have to pay the dredging fees, yeah.
Does that have to be done before the next meeting then? If they get permission?
This is
Part of
literally
the,
one step at a time.
part, I
Yeah,
see, I
wouldn't
hear what
wanna
Kevin's
have to
saying.
put out money for.
Even
you know,
speculate on it.
So there's really no good categorization in the fee breakdown for what we're proposing, so we picked something that seemed applicable. If the commission feels different, let us know, we'll get you the fee so that doesn't hold things
So
up.
can we just hold off on that for now then?
Yep, and see what the plan comes up with at that time, and then we'll look at what the fee should be.
Right. So let me just
That
ask,
makes
so
sense.
what do we need to state? We need a letter stating you can do that if the commission allows it. Is that what we
I
need?
guess their interpretation. of
Well,
the
we need permission from the
compliance.
state to allow it, pretty much. Because it is a habitat, even though it's not a beaver habitat right now, because you remove the beavers, it's still habitat.
It's their property, they own
Right.
that dam, they own that lodge, they own that
Oh,
lake.
so if they're like applicable or
And
they would even allow it. Is that
so.
sort of what
I
the
think
ask
we- I
is?
think we've
Yeah,
got.
I mean, in the regulations, they shouldn't be allowing it, but we'll see what they do, pleading that it's a safety issue.
I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. Something's gonna happen.
So,
All right, we'll get in contact with them and we'll be prepared for the next meeting.
all right, thank
Right
you
on.
very much.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Oh, did we get a motion? Were you gonna
Oh, no, I'm good,
motion just to accept the continuance?
Yeah,
And Matt?
I made that motion.
Okay, Norman second. Okay, all in favor, go around.
Dennis, yes?
Andy, yes?
Norm, yes.
Chris, yes.
Jerry, yes.
Yes.
yeah, Kevin, yes.
Oh, yes,
See you next time. Yeah.
perfect.
Okay, we'll see you then. Okay, is anybody here from Troop?
No,
No?
Oh.
not this week.
Okay, so we're gonna scratch that up. We'll postpone that till
You got another hearing.
the 6th. Oh, sorry.
Continue to the same.
It's continued.
Continue to the 6th as well.
Yeah.
You sure? Oops, let me just, we don't need to see that anymore.
All right, so. We got some discussion on order conditions 4 and 7 for 141 Congamon Road. Ready, come on up, state your name and.
Sure. Attorney Matthew Dunn for Ken Eggleston, owner of the 141 Congamon Road.
You have the two conditions that he wants to discuss, it's highlighted.
Okay.
Did the same thing.
Did you? Yeah, I figured they'd want to see it.
Yeah.
So everyone has the
Oh, he didn't
order of
even have to.
conditions in their folder.
You
141.
still have, the expert consultant, you want him up here too?
He is, but he was not involved with this
He was with the Greenlock, so he was the one that proposed it.
initially.
Yeah.
Can't hurt. You might have
Did you
something to
find it?
offer, yeah.
I know.
You have a copy of it. Done.
I got the large.
Oh, okay. What's going on here, Sabrina?
What?
Did you sign in?
I did sign it when I walked in the door.
I did.
And he didn't.
I did.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
So Ken Eggleston contacted me and he wanted to discuss the special order of conditions number 4 and number 7 on his order of conditions. And number 4 is the Green Locks reinforced living wall, which shall be installed along the waterfront area as shown in the plan. And number 7 is an ongoing condition. Docks are to be removed by hand every winter. And that's all I got.
So, my understanding is that, with regard to the Green Locks reinforced living wall, there was some concern that the vegetation that was embedded into the product didn't all take. Some of that was the result, as according to the manufacturer, was the result of the silt fence that was put up. It created a super saturation of that for too long of a period of time, so the seed would have gone either dormant or died. Since then, since June, there seems to be some of the vegetation is taking, and it's surprising that it's coming through the product again, which is good. That means that it went dormant, but it seems to be doing what it's supposed to be doing. There are some areas that, for lack of a better way of saying it, need some attention. They probably need to be addressed with some overseed. The issue is what kind of seed. We're going to have to consult with Levac to find out what is the proper seed mix to plant. This is literally right on the water line. There's no real beach there. The people don't utilize it for any kind of beach. So it was, the intent was to reestablish the vegetation. And I'm sure everybody wanted it to be non-invasive species so that it was would be growing with what is supposed to be growing there. So we understand that there's an ongoing requirement to try to keep that as vegetated as possible. And like I said, we're going to be reaching out to Levac to figure out what we can plant to supplement what was in the product originally. If everybody remembers, the product came before it was installed. It comes with seed already built into the product, and it's supposed to slowly germinate and everything's supposed to pop up. But because of the construction cycle and how long the product was underwater, and it was underwater for a prolonged period of time, it didn't really take the way that it's supposed to. The manufacturer is kind of giving us a hands-off approach right now, and let's see what happens over the next couple of years.
So we should probably look at what the area really is. If it's underwater all the time, is it, or?
It's not
Does
underwater
it
at
puddle
all.
there? I mean, is it?
You want to show some pictures?
Yeah.
That's one, and then swipe it to your right, and you'll see more. You can blow them up closer.
We were concerned about the erosion. How's that look, the erosion?
I have not seen any additional erosion at all. None.
So it's working, it is working.
There are areas where the sand or dirt from the water has gone over top of,
Instead of
Right.
undermining it.
right, and that's gone over top and it's formed a new layer of dirt, if you
It's
will.
good then, right?
Well, that's causing a problem with the vegetation growing,
Yeah, because it goes on top of it.
Right.
Sure.
okay?
Yeah, our intent when we proposed that was the shoreline interface had a very short, but kind of a cut erosive action.
Yeah.
going on.
That's what I was gonna ask.
And
I
that
can see it. now.
sock, that impregnated sock was meant to be staked immediately in front of that, and it has.
Maybe I shouldn't go too far.
Yeah.
An action.
Nice rainbow.
I couldn't believe it, two, there's two
What
rainbows.
does it mean?
That was today.
Mesh into one, but that didn't happen for segments of it.
You
So,
guys hear what Ryan said?
No, sorry, Ryan.
so prior to the project, that area shoreline is very sandy, as you know.
Mhm.
And it had a very short kind of cut erosive, like the fact that that was going. And the reason why we proposed that sock was two things. One, to provide a vegetated barrier, but also the sock was durable enough that it was gonna stop that wave action against
Okay.
that eroding shore.
It acts as a waddle.
Right.
Mhm.
So I was there the other day and there is parts that were definitely underwater and loose and just taken by the waves or
Yeah,
whatnot.
and that's why
Yeah.
there's so many stakes. I've gone back over there. You've seen some that are stuck out
They're just in the water, just,
like that. I haven't had the help to get over there to move something that big.
yeah,
I've been moving them and staking the heck out of them because they keep getting drawn into the lake. But
right.
you see that? Those, obviously I'll get that fixed. That's probably one of the things you saw. But you see, there's a lot more stakes.
I think
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you guys are proposing to have Leveco back out there and
I
what
think,
you need and.
yeah, really,
Termination type.
it's more, I mean, we want to establish the vegetation will help with the erosion, both coming in from the water coming in and the water coming this way. The more,
Deep roots.
the roots mesh together, it creates like a net effect, and that's what we're kind of looking for. So but we want to plant the right seed mix. Having done this a couple times, I know that depending on where you are, you have to use the right seed mix or you're creating a bigger problem than
Right.
you're trying to fix.
so does anyone know what the seed mix was? Cause what I saw, I
I
think was
could-
just stuff growing, not from the actual sock itself, just natural stuff.
Native vegetation is
Native,
growing in.
yeah, it was just growing
be
in
too.
there, cause I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
see. The
So-
second you put it in, it should have basically started growing. And
Well, remember, and one of the problems that the supplier of this
It's still
material
getting
has
wet.
against me
grow.
was that they say I caused the problem by putting the silk fence. This was the silk, this was the Filtrex, and this is the shoreline. I should have put the silk fence out here.
Mhm.
We put it in here. Because everybody wanted the silk fence to be on the ground so we could bury it. It had to be 6 inches under. Well, that pretty much voided everything that these guys did. Because all I did then was create a barrier with the fence.
Where the
And
water
this just
stayed.
got soaked and went dormant, killed,
And-
rotted.
So maybe next time put the silt fence higher up on the shoreline?
No,
So who told you to put the silt fence? A consultant told you to put the silt fence?
I want to say that the Conservation Commission did, but,
I don't think so.
yes, they did.
well, I wasn't here.
We don't tell you, they come in with a plan and show us where the silt fence goes on it, and then commission approves if they don't actually specify.
Well, then I guess, Brian.
Right,
Yeah,
well,
we code the silt fence, correct, yeah.
I think the point is more that we're here to try to
Yeah,
address
I-
the
I-
problem, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And-
no.
This is gonna
appreciate
get-
that.
Right,
Yeah.
we just wanna,
Apologize.
we wanna cure the problem as much as we possibly can.
That's all.
Sometimes these things aren't gonna take, or sometimes it takes more than one time.
Right.
I mean, I've been on projects where you plant the arborvitae and they die, and then they plant another arborvitae and it dies. And then you decide maybe it's.
Maybe not
could be something,
arborvitae.
yeah, it might be better if it's not arborvitae.
The southernmost side of the whole frontage seems to have grown real grass. And you can see it. You can't see it anymore, but that's somewhere over here. Whoops. it went away. I'm on the neighbor's dock, that's why.
Mhm.
The edge of the property is where this sign is.
Mhm.
And if you look going back my way, it's really done its job. There's vegetation there, there's sand in front of it. All the way along, those are all stakes of where it is,
Where the
and all
silt
that
fence is.
dirt is now in front of all that. And it did well, but only in that area. And I don't know why, maybe the silt fence was higher up
No,
and,
could have drained better there.
but we'll,
So is everything already vegetated up, like from your side towards the lake? Everything's growing there now?
There's definitely things growing.
oh yeah,
Just
So there's really no
not the-
need
just
for a
not the
silt fence, like, other
No,
than
no, the
that.
silt fence is gone.
Oh,
That's
we
what I'm
wouldn't-
saying,
we
but
wouldn't use
it's
that.
really, there was talk about where to put the silt fence. This time, there's no need to put silt fence.
Right.
The problematic areas, couldn't you just install new green lock there and,
That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
ask.
and then just see how then, without the silt fence being an issue,
Right.
try new green lock and see if that grows. I don't know how expensive the cost of it is, but
That would help from the erosion too.
I'm just
Yeah,
asking.
a second row of it might,
I'm just asking, like,
Sounds
just
good.
not say the whole thing, just
I
spots
might
that
be
are
able to get into
problematic.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't put silt fence in again, because everything's
No, I
already
think we were just-
established, there's no need for
Yeah, 'cause we
it.
said-
we wouldn't say we were gonna put it, so we were
Yeah.
talking about how we think it was put in
Yeah, yeah.
improperly the first
Yeah.
time. Add a new layer of,
Would that take if you put it in now?
this is the time of year we did, it's a little late from what we did last year we put it in August.
Hmm.
So, but I'll ask them, when do you normally seed? I don't know. Are people out there
Early
seeding?
fall.
It all depends on what you're trying to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
You know what I
true.
mean? If there's plants that you would seed now and there's plants that you seed in the beginning of the spring. The problem with this is always gonna be the boat traffic is gonna pick up.
Right.
You're gonna have waves coming ashore and it's gonna be
Yeah.
knocking things down if it's the wrong time of the year. So
It's a lot less boat traffic.
you just, it's gonna be a work in progress, I
Yeah.
think is what.
Yeah, right now it's great for boat traffic, but might not be great for planting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But that might lay dormant through the winter and start growing as soon as it can. Or you can think about maybe doing it early in the spring.
Also might wanna worry about the ice. If it pushes over there, it might.
Well,
actually
ice does
push it.
Buckle the shoreline sometimes too,
Yeah.
so.
I don't know how it is over in
Well,
that
we
area.
haven't had ice in a few years, but yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
So you might wanna consider only cutting out portions of the real dead stuff and replacing it rather than putting the whole second layer across.
That's a thought, but, it comes in all one big long thing, so I don't know if we wanna have a piece here, the way this stuff floats
Leave
around.
that up to you guys to make that decision, because
Yeah.
if we make the decision and it's wrong, you're gonna.
Okay.
Right, so.
So that would bring us to the next matter, which is the last of the ongoing conditions, which is the docks are to be removed by hand every winter. So to address this, I want to first state that my client, when he first came in here, because it was a precondition to his applying for the Chapter 91 dock, is he had to come in here first. So he came in here and he agreed to something that he didn't know because he wasn't an owner at that point. He had never run a marina. He had no idea about docks. That is the only excuse I can give to you for why he so easily agreed to this condition. He has since purchased docks. The docks that he purchased are purpose-built to remain in the water. They're designed special. The way that they're designed, they are more buoyant than yeah, I have some too. And this is from the dock company. Oh, sorry, geez, sorry.
Mike is sensitive.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, thanks.
So,
Or you purchase docks, even though you knew the docks were supposed to come out, you purchase one to them.
well, they're better docks is what it comes down to. It's a much better docking system. Yeah, and they're intentionally made for this purpose. So then we went for the Chapter 91 license, and when we went for the Chapter 91 license, the state said that they would allow basically 2,000 square feet or 1,999 square feet of dock to remain in year round. There's a significant cost associated with removal of the docks. There's some other hardships that it causes. These docks are there's a lot of dock. And as such, there's not a lot of space on the shoreline. These are issues that he at the time, wasn't aware were gonna be considerations. And now understands that there are considerations. There's also considerations that came about as a result of the proposed use, which is as a restaurant, for the building. The proposed use would mean that his seating capacity in the restaurant would be greatly decreased during the winter months, due to the fact that it's the only place to store docks is in the parking lot. There's also some other issues that he didn't understand at the time, which is that these docks are very cumbersome and, as far as removal by hand is I don't even know if it's possible for some of the sections. They're large sections. The dock is something that, I went through your bylaws, I went through the state regs, I went through, even your, Southwood Conservation Commission with regard to the jurisdiction for your permitting process for docks. He's exempt from that entirely because he has a Chapter 91 license. So that didn't apply. In this, it also refers to Massachusetts CMR 310, Section 9. And in that, there is no prohibition against any docks remaining in the water for a full annual basis, year round. And then, you know, in the Chapter 91 license, which was issued by Mass DEP, it specifically addresses the amount of docks that could remain in the water. So we're here asking and gauging the Conservation Commission for what it would take to amend the notice, the order of conditions to allow docks to remain that would be the same square footage as what the Mass DEP allows. I think that it's in keeping with what to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know how that condition made it in the first place, because you don't have jurisdiction over that. It was by your own rules.
He didn't object to it.
I understand,
Because I didn't know what he meant.
Proposal to corral them in the winter, or is that what Saunders does? They corral them, put them together? No,
Say.
they don't do that?
No.
Stay in place.
They're grandfathered in and they use.
Bubblers, they use
And
bubblers.
we're not gonna be using bubblers.
Did you have an opportunity to read that?
Yeah,
That's the
Understand.
manufacturer saying how these docks are
I
made.
understand.
And Sabrina, did you get the email that I sent to you?
When?
I sent it around 5:30 or so.
No, you're crazy.
I only got
She
it,
did go home probably.
I only got it at 5 o'clock. I don't know if you get it on your little computer here.
Did you want me to bring it up on this? I'd have to sign in and everything, or do you?
I think it would be important to see, in that email, it shows pictures of these exact docks at other locations in Massachusetts in the wintertime. And I think you'd appreciate seeing that.
Is the concern of the physical dock being out there on the ice in the way of snowmobiles and all that?
Well, that's, I wanted to ask, what's the
Are we worried
commission,
about, we're not worried about your dock getting destroyed.
what's the commission?
Oh, no, neither am I.
Right?
Well,
So
in
seeing
a
other
way,
docks is
in a
low.
way, you are worried about his dock being destroyed, because if there's fragments of his dock floating around, that's a hazard.
Right.
I've worked with these docks, I've a little camp, one at Pisaki, and they leave them in. They do, however,
Yeah.
move them into a cove.
Right.
So that they're out of the direct
So,
line of fire.
I just
of
want
the
to go
snowmobiles.
back, if you don't
So
mind.
that would alleviate some of the problems with storage.
Yeah.
So
and actually
Joe-
lifting them up.
Joe already stored them. He took them out every year.
These aren't.
Those are
docks.
not-
I
Same.
understand these are
Yeah.
different docks,
There's
but
a
you
lot more
also have
water.
specific parking places for the marina. Why can't you put them there?
A couple of things you mentioned.
I don't think you're supposed
Joe-
to use those
Joe
parking spaces in
had,
the
well,
winter.
I'm sorry?
Are you allowed to use those parking spaces in the winter for the
It just
restaurant?
doesn't increase the occupancy. You can't increase the occupancy of the restaurant based on those additional spaces regardless. So it's
if
not like
people
there's a,
Use them, it would increase the occupancy, wouldn't it?
no,
If
not
people use
necessarily.
what?
Those marina parking.
They can,
spots.
they can use the marina parking.
They can,
But I thought the marina parking was for the marina,
It is from May 15th to October 15th.
so your occupancy, it increases over the winter?
no, the occupancy is gonna stay the same. It's set by fire code, it's set by parking
Right.
spaces. There's a bunch of different.
So there's supposed to be
conditions.
one
Excuse me,
in,
that's wrong.
1.5 parking spaces for the marina,
You're,
not,
they were allowing you to increase the
Yes,
occupancy?
my occupancy does increase in the winter inside the restaurant. It goes from 88
Sorry.
to hundred and
I
38.
don't know about that.
Explain what the commission's main concern would be of leaving the docks in the water. Is it habitat? Is it environmental? What is?
I don't really see any habitat
So it's
reasons or
it's safety
environmental
then,
reasons. It would be a
really.
safety thing with like snowmobiles, like when we do have people with chapter 191 licenses. We make sure that they mark them for the winter.
Right.
With cones, lights,
Well, and that's,
stuff like that.
yeah,
Lighting, I would, there
They,
are
they
other,
will, if it snows, get covered
right, and
and you
I,
might not be able to see.
and I'm gonna have some, I wanna put some ground lighting up. This is the layout of the docks right now.
Right,
This is 2,533 square feet of dock. Chapter 91 DEP says that I can only leave in there. They say I'm able to leave 1,999.
Yeah.
Which means I have to take out of there about 250 some odd. That means it's 16. This is 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Each one of these fingers is 2 lengths. That's 20 feet. I have to, in order to meet their requirements, I have to take 16 of these out anyway. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So I would eliminate this.
So that's gonna, some of the safety hazard would be eliminated.
and then what we were thinking as far as safety is because I know, well, I don't know what happens on Lake Congamon. I do know that snowmobilers frequently are
well, when they're
going out at
nice.
night.
Yeah.
So we were thinking that it would be best if there was actually motion sensitive lights.
Right.
Cause that way it would turn on and it would be something that would alert them as opposed to something that's on all the time. The
Yeah.
fear is that you just kind of become immune to it.
So we have on the buoys now, navigational lights starting to go in. So something like that might be, they blink.
But they,
Yeah.
they come out in the winter though.
You wanna,
Those do because the buoys come out, but your docks are gonna stay in.
Right.
Right.
you
So
wanna
if
get
you
the
leave
harbor
your,
master to weigh in on this?
might be because it's more of a
If it's a
safety
safety
issue,
issue,
right?
it's
And
not-
through the LPP, they are part of. the
You know,
process.
We're not governed by the LPP, but
No, I know
I
that,
agree,
but I
right.
mean.
I agree
This
that
doesn't-
we identified
Yeah,
safety as
I
being a
mean, you
concern.
guys don't wanna have
Wouldn't
that.
that provide more habitat?
I'm a snowmobiler as well, so.
I mean, I don't see,
In the
a
winter,
huge-
the winter
Yeah.
snakes.
They put their nests under there, people go to take their docks and the water snakes come off from underneath it.
yeah.
I just have one comment. Are we
Right.
setting a precedent by making safety concern with this dock and not any other docks in the lake?
But it is.
Well, chapter 91 isn't under our purview really in the first
Well, I'm
place.
just saying.
But this is a
earlier
special
in-
case.
Earlier in this meeting, we were saying safety is not an issue for conservation.
No, we weren't saying that at all.
Okay, well,
We're saying
say-
habitat
well,
is more of an issue, is what we're
I
saying.
know,
We're not
but
saying. that
there,
safety
but
is
there
wrong.
it wasn't an issue with a navigational issue there. Now we're worried
That's
about,
why I'm saying
we're
we need
worried
to have the
about
harbor
a
master
safety
weigh.
issue with this. I'm just saying, I'm just bringing up the point.
You're right,
I'm just
it's
saying.
it's not a.
It was, safety
conservation
wasn't an issue
but
No,
it is a-
at,
Right, it's not a habitat issue like
And
the
I
other
think
one
that,
was.
that the harbor master has said on the other docks is they have some kind of lights on the end of it, cones, I think that's what he's
Yeah,
suggesting.
We've had other people put cones
yeah.
I have
on docks.
I have spoken with Chief Landis, the harbor master, about this.
Okay,
And these guys are pretty much saying it's out of our jurisdiction anyway, so I don't
Well,
wanna go to legal battle
they
on
said
that.
the local bylaw proceeds,
Excuse me,
local bylaw precedes them.
what's the local, say about docks staying in the water?
Well, it's in our order of conditions.
Right.
What?
It's in our order of conditions.
Yeah, that's not a local bylaw, the order condition.
That's not-
No. I don't wanna go to bat on it,
Yeah.
you know.
It's actually,
Let's work something out.
it's in the order of conditions because you asked the question and I said yes. Not knowing anything about whether they had to come out or not come out, certainly not knowing
Well,
that
I
I was
think-
gonna be needing.
I think
two
at that
handicap-
time were you looking to go through the LPP process to put your docks in?
Even the docks were out there before, I said, how are you gonna, 'cause every year taking those things out, that was a mammoth, you're gonna do it by hand. He said.
Well, they
"No
said
machinery."
So
Well, I saw that by the whole by hand thing.
Well,
And I
he
was
said
like-
he was gonna have 4 people and it was
I
gonna
know,
be
I
no
was-
problem.
I was here for
That's
that.
what he
Well,
said,
well,
no
I
problem.
was thinking of the kind of
So-
docks that I have in my own house, and these are 2 to 3 times heavier than that, each one of them.
They're good and sturdy.
But
Yeah.
Joe Scuderi had 10 docks total. illegally, he had 10 docks out there for 30 years, no chapter 91, nothing. And he had friends who had big machines who could come out onto the deck and destroy the deck. If you look at it, it's all cracked up, reach in and grab these things and take them up and put them in the parking lot because he closed down for the winter. When and if I ever get this restaurant going, which hopefully by early next year, it will be open 12 months a year.
That'll be nice.
But let's get the harbor master to weigh in on it. I know Ellen's like that.
Speak, please.
Sure.
Come on.
You can,
We have people dominating the conversation here.
you can speak whatever you want, Norm.
Well, I'm trying to be polite.
Okay.
Well, this isn't like management, so we're gonna ask now we're gonna ask like management to weigh in on this.
I'm speaking here as a conservation member, okay? So please allow me to speak. Both of you. My heartburn is, when you agreed to pull out the docks, you said you were gonna stack them on the deck of the current deck.
Right.
Then you went out and bought something that was way too heavy to fit on the deck. That is your problem and not mine.
These are the same docks from day one. I've never changed my mind about what docks I was gonna use.
Well,
It was just, and right, from day one, I was looking at Easy
you
Dock.
said you were gonna store them on the,
Right, and I can store easily 16 of them. I can't store 62 of them. These are 62 docks, 10 feet long, 3 to 5 feet wide, each one of them. It took 4 trailers to bring these docks to the water, and they were installed by 4 guys in 12 hours using the town beach.
but you have to understand, by you saying that you're gonna remove the docks, that influenced the vote for the approval of the transient docks. Okay, both conservation and lake management.
It did?
approved that they were strongly in favor of the transient dock.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there was very few people that were strongly in favor of anything. I was here at those meetings. So those meetings were not strongly, as a
You
matter of
weren't at
fact,
any meetings that I was at.
I've been representing them at several of these meetings and maybe none of the meetings that you were at, but I was at several of these meetings. And I can tell
4
you,
years, I've missed one meeting.
okay,
I don't recall seeing you ever before.
I'm just telling you that
Okay,
But I'm not saying what you're saying, Norm, is wrong. What I'm saying is that I'm here asking now that I know more, we all know more, for a change in the order of conditions. Was I wrong in saying yes, or what I would do? Absolutely. I'm not sitting here to say that I was, but I was misled, I was misinformed, and not smart enough to know what I was talking about.
I just wanna let you know, my vote on lake management, supporting the transient docks, was based upon you saying you were gonna remove the docks in the winter.
That is correct. And when I went in front of the select board, very last thing that I did before getting the chapter 91 license, same question was asked. And at that meeting, I said, no, I was not planning to take the docks out of the water. And they had an opportunity to appeal the docks completely, and they did. They did not appeal my chapter 91 license for the fact that I was going to take the docks out of the water. They had no problem with it at that time, obviously, but I know what you're saying. And I don't think it was the transient docks
Yes.
that, who would have a problem with the transient docks ever? It was the marina docks, not the
You
transient
know,
docks.
this is all
Yeah, I think
It
this
was-
is
it was-
LMC
beyond our
business, this is
purview.
conservation, it's
Well,
LMC.
right. Well, no, it definitely wasn't the transient
Let me
docks.
just say.
I wasn't
that
here, so I don't know the history totally of
We do the
what did go
local
on.
permitting program. If people say they wanna leave their docks in year round, we say, go to the state, get a chapter 91 license.
Correct.
And it's kind of out of our hands after that. I mean, you agreed to it, so we'll be, we were happy about that, but.
But now I'm asking for a change and reconsideration, because we all know what kind of docks these are. We know what a burden it will be to take them out, not just financial, but also at the time when I said I was gonna take them out and put them on the docks, I didn't realize that I had to put 2 handicap ramps back there that take up all that space as well.
Well, you made a mistake and now you're trying to figure out how to rectify it and
but correctly, that's
I
right.
think that, you know, go to the harbor master and find out what they say, get an official. Lake management
Because this is
committee.
more of a safety issue than it is conservation issue.
Conservation, I don't think we've got that.
Right,
we really
and
have
well,
to
but it was your order of
push
conditions, that's why I came here first.
And that's
Right.
absolutely
Yeah,
correct.
and I spoke with the harbor master and I know his feelings were safety.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
what are you gonna do to
it's
have
under
them
our
safe?
purview now more through LPP than it is a conservation issue.
that.
But
that's-
LPP is,
And you're-
not have any word.
This is
And
not-
that's what we're saying.
Right.
But we would appreciate you seeing the harbor master for safety
Absolutely.
recommendation.
Absolutely. That's what we're
Yeah.
looking, we're here to work with.
Yeah.
The Conservation Commission, we're here to work with the town. I mean, that's kind of been the position from day one.
And also see, you know, if there is some way you can corral them, just to float them over to an easier spot, but.
Well, is there somewhere, Jerry, you know Southbound, do you think there's somewhere that I would be able to do that?
Well, just closer to the shoreline. I mean, you said you were gonna pull out
He
these
used to,
closer ones?
These right here,
yeah, he used
Oh,
to
you're gonna
kind of
pull out
like,
the further ones?
the deep ones, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Put them in the front.
yeah, he used to kind of stack them along the shoreline. Mr. Chairman, if I may?
sure.
I would suggest a compromise here, because we have some good points on both sides, but I think that Ken has acted in good faith and he's pretty much tried to follow all the rules that we gave him. Talk to the harbor master, see if he can be allowed to take out just enough to meet the 1999 square foot, put some lights on it. And see if that might be agreeable to everyone, because we could go on forever.
yeah.
And I would like to see it just cleaned up personally. This has kind of gone on too long, in my opinion.
I agree with Jerry.
So I'm thinking maybe a compromise where, you know, we get the harbor master involved and, you know.
So are we looking to do a continuation? To hear recommendation from harbor master before we change this? I think that's what we're gonna probably be looking for.
It's Dick Reynolds. I'd like to speak for Lake Management. We have 4 docks that we purchased deliberately so they could be removed. They are extremely heavy. We had them deliberately put on wheels. They roll out. It takes a half a dozen volunteers and 1 piece of equipment. We do it every single year. They're all out before December 1st. That requirement was in place before the docks were purchased, as it was for our Chapter 91 license for the two boat ramps. So there's actually 5 docks that all come out before December 1st. They all weigh tons, literally tons, and they all are removed every single year. And we don't
So,
have a
Mr.
problem with that.
Mr. Grinnell,
Yes.
you have access to a boat launch, correct?
It is the boat launch.
It is the boat launch that you're referring to, so you have access?
Yes.
We would have to cross conservation jurisdictional properties that are vegetated in order to get any piece of equipment in there to remove these docks.
We bought ours so that they are floating.
Yep.
We can float them around. We actually do float them in place. And then when they get to the boat ramps, you know, to where the ramp part is, they come up on rollers. They come on wheels. And we tow them out. And they do that all over. By the way, Office of Fishing and Boating Access has very similar, they have over 300 facilities in the Commonwealth, and they remove docks. They don't leave them in over the winter. And some have rub rails on the bottom. Most of them have wheels.
So, Mr. Grinnell, just a question. So for the Chapter 91 license that the state has for their docks, does it require that they come out or require that they
Yes.
stay in?
It doesn't.
And that was an agreement that we made, that they would not be in there because of a safety
No, not
hazard.
yours.
Oh, his.
I'm asking about his docks. So it's a condition that your docks come out, but Mr. Eggles-
The Office of Fishing and Boating Access docks, it's in their conditions.
Right.
Right. But that's through the Chapter 91 license, and his is a little bit different, so that's the conflict we're having, I believe.
I'm a marina holding more than 10 boats.
Correct, but you also, in your chapter 91 license, it says that you can leave 1,999 square feet of dock in the water.
Yes.
So that's the difference between the state ramps and the marina.
But our docks are, each one is 40 feet long, 6 feet wide. That's 240 square feet per dock. And we
Right.
take them out in those sections. 200, we take them out 40 feet long, 6 feet wide.
I believe those are aluminum as well. And the ice.
They are aluminum, absolutely are. And they have floats, under them because we bought them so that they could be removed.
But that, Mr. Grinnell, that's because you wanted to remove them. That's why you bought them, so that they could be removed.
No, because that's how the fishing and boating access is smart enough to not want to leave their docks in and get destroyed.
And they would.
I think this is getting out of
Yeah, I think-
conservation jurisdiction.
Right, so,
I don't remember back in the beginning, we talked about getting docks that were gonna stay in the water. Correct. Yeah, I mean, it's always been the idea to do so.
yeah, the intention is different than where we are now, so we're not even gonna go
Yeah.
back to that point in time.
Can I
You know-
ask Jerry a question?
Sure,
Yes, sir.
Only because Jerry lives on South Pond.
yes.
Have you seen any problems with the docks? Do you see the lighting that is there now, the solar lighting? I mean, it jumps out. Do you ever ride at night or anything? Anybody ride in the lake at night?
I haven't seen any lights down there, and occasionally a couple of Joe's docks would escape. And I'll find them floating and we bring them back.
Absolutely, yes.
And, you
That
know,
won't happen with these.
that does happen. Yours are like way too sturdy for that to happen. So, and yours are very well trenched in my opinion, because I've walked on them.
Trespassing. Okay.
Well, you were with me. You were with me.
Actually, more disturbance to take them out than it would be leaving them in there.
That's what he says to you.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, I just go back to my idea of having a compromise, just so we can keep everybody gets something.
I think you should have a hearing with the harbor master and lake management and conservation all present at the same time.
Well, it's kind of, I don't see how it's in the purview. It's in this, the state, granted a chapter 91 license with their stipulations. I don't see how we can supersede that. I'm not.
No, it's already a condition in your special conditions, in the order of conditions.
But what were the order conditions for? Is it? I don't see how we gave an order of conditions on docks that we have no jurisdiction over.
The same conditions were done for Tri-PBJ and Louis V's. Or whatever they're called now.
Out of business.
They remove all their docks every winter.
Well, we'll have a meeting with the harbor master and LMC, and then if you have any questions for conservation, we'll be happy to answer them, but
Right.
I think this has gone way, way far out of our jurisdiction, we spent way too much time. We go around in circles here, so. What do you think, Chris?
Well, I asked for continuance, we'll get a little.
There's really nothing to continue, I mean,
Well, I mean, as far as, well, maybe we want them to put safety things on.
We don't have any objection to meeting with the harbor master and listening to
Sounds
lake
good.
management. And then reporting back to you as far as what they've been telling us to do.
thank you, thanks for coming in.
That seems fair.
Is it them? Are they gonna set up the meeting? Oh, sorry. Who's gonna set up the meeting? I
When
wanna
they
know-
get-
We're not gonna set up, they're gonna.
When they
Okay.
get the information, they'll call you.
They'll get back to us, thank you very much.
I know.
Have to be put back on the agenda.
Okay,
Okay?
All right,
got it.
We don't want to be on the agenda anyway, in 2 weeks.
Well, are we gonna be able to get in touch with everybody in 2 weeks?
let's,
Harbor master, somebody.
well, we
see.
can
You can
always
call-
put you
you can
on
call
for them,
Sabrina,
and then
yeah,
if you can't,
Why
then,
don't you put us on for then?
okay,
And then if we can't, we'll ask for
So I'll
further
just keep you
continuance.
on the agenda.
Yes.
I'll move for a continuation on this.
okay, I'll second.
It's not really a public.
Well, you're right, we don't need to
Yeah.
continue, we're just asking.
Yeah.
So you'll just be attending.
Yeah, and we'll report again.
Thank you.
Okay?
Sounds good.
Thank you all.
Sounds good.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey, gentlemen,
See you, Ken.
some new faces. Are you the Dennis Clark that does all the gas?
Yeah, that's famous.
He's famous.
Yes, sir.
It is you. I just was curious.
He's everywhere.
You're gonna have a gas pump out there, sir, Marina?
I would love to,
No, you
but the
gotta
laws don't allow it.
let me know.
They'll have a scale in the kitchen.
That's
I
right.
don't have 300 feet of land.
Wayne, the Chinese.
I just want to say something quick before I leave.
Sure.
So, can't hear, so that applies to Congamon Marina too?
What's that?
What do you mean?
Starts taking your docks out.
Whatever, what does your
Whatever.
chapter 91
Yeah.
license say?
That is a good question.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Traditionally, he's left them in, I think.
No, they
Do
they
pull-
take them out.
Do they take them all?
It's,
Yeah.
it's a lot, but
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna check. I'll-
Check your chapter
I'll
91
have
license.
him Check it, and see if it states the same thing.
Okay, you got floaters, right? They're all floaters?
Yeah, they're all floaters.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
probably,
usually they take them out every year. I don't know what your chapter
All right, yeah.
91 license says, so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Neat and stacked on the shore, I see it.
That's right, yeah.
Well, it also
That's what I
depends
think. Stacked on the shore, I see.
Doesn't it depend on the
It's just like
material?
garbage
Yeah.
Sitting there now,
Yeah,
Heated outside?
you got a
No.
nice area in the front there.
I mean, I can just pull them all.
We got you back here. We're gonna have you sign now.
Oh, I used to charge for my signature, but
Every time you speak, you gotta sign it. So there's nobody here from the troop, huh?
Nobody's here from the troop.
I tried to catch him.
It's like-
Well, the one I can't see out the
Then
other.
we don't have to enter. Doesn't depend on the type of
Oh, put my
material.
name in here. I thought
Like
someone
if it's
had
a
it.
pressure treated dock, it definitely needs to come out.
Oh, I don't think they allow pressure treated.
Not
ice.
anymore, no.
Ice will crack them up.
Right.
Yeah, they have to be.
Anyway, the troops not
Like
here.
mine
No,
used to be.
so we're gonna go to Noble Steed update.
Noble Steed update.
Yeah, there's a lot going on at Noble Steed. I don't know if Norm wants to start this off. He requested that this be put on the agenda.
Yeah, there's a lot going on Noble Street.
Yeah.
The progress on the completion of this project is extremely slow.
Nuts.
And it seems to be even slower now that,
Did they take all?
possibility.
There's chocolate underneath
There's
it.
a lien put on the
Thank you.
property now.
Thank you.
No, not for me. Thank you.
Tax payment. And we had some
Gotta watch the mic.
significant erosion.
There you go.
in the last
I can't
major
answer.
storm.
Okay, let's listen to
Norm,
what Norm has to say.
Sorry. Sorry, yeah,
you
sorry.
guys have to repeat what he just said.
Yes.
That's our
Prove
bad.
that you.
That's our bad. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yes, I asked that this be put on here because there's a lot going on. The town,
Guys, if you're gonna have a conversation, you just have it in the hall.
Sorry.
It's okay, thank you.
the day we had 6 inches of rain, there was a massive erosion problems. The whole process has been significantly delayed in getting the project completed. And now the property taxes have not been paid on the property and the town's about to take a lien on the property. And you have an legal opinion from the town lawyer that says they believe that all the conditions that go, the Conservation Commission has put on the property, stay with the property. And so it's on here because we need to try to take closure on this. Because every time there's a significant rain, there's significant erosion.
Right, and one of the parcels is open space area and the other one is replication.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's,
Right.
And if the town forecloses and takes the property,
Then
we're gonna
we're
own,
owning the,
to own that problem.
We're owning
It's happened before.
With sewers.
so.
So it's like you're foreclosing on something that's gonna be more problems than.
Right.
So can we have Jesse come in at our next meeting and have a discussion on what he's gonna do to finish this project?
I can ask him, but I think there's also so in your folders, there is a letter from Randy Brown with some images that he took. This was not the big rainstorm, but the big rainstorm before that one. September 29th.
29th.
And it looks like the sediment is not just coming from where the culvert area is, it's actually coming from a few places. One of those places being where the open space parcel, there's an image up on the screen. Let me try to share it for Zoomers. Zoom, 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 zoom. Okay. So where my mouse is pointing at is actually the open space parcel, which is what I believe it's owned by Jesse Saltmarsh or Saltmarsh Brothers Construction. So it looks like that's where a good portion of the sediment is starting to come down the hill. And then let's see if we, well, yeah, here's a close up of it. And then it goes, so that the open space sediment is coming from the right and then going down this way. This sediment is actually coming from the neighbors, and I had spoken to the neighbors and told them that, you know, you've got a lot of sediment coming down into the resource area as well as across the street. And they said that they're going to loam and seed as soon as possible. So they're aware of that.
The resource area is already destroyed,
The resource areas, yes, it's sad.
needs a restoration plan.
So here you can already see that it's a, sort of, I don't know how to explain it, chocolate water.
Have we read an enforcement order requiring a restoration plan to be submitted?
Just a bond, I think.
There wasn't a restoration plan.
So there should be an enforcement order with a restoration plan required, and that should be recorded before anything happens, before somebody else takes the property. So they know when they get that property, they have to do the restoration. If anybody would want to buy it after they realize what they've got to
Which
do.
property are you talking about? The open space or like the 15?
The restoration area.
The resource area.
The
Resource area.
replication?
Yeah.
Okay,
There needs to be a
How
replication
can you
because
define
because the resource area has been destroyed, so now it needs to be replicated.
well, there is a replication already. It's supposed to happen because of the culvert. And that's at the lot, I believe it's lot 15, which is, you know, you didn't pay taxes for lot 15.
Right, so the wetland that's gotten destroyed, other than the culvert area, would need to be added onto that restoration, replication, because I don't think they'd be able to restore. You know, it's so covered up with silt and everything.
Okay.
Who would, a restoration,
Who would pay for the restoration, like, plan?
or that would be Jesse Saltmarsh, the owner of the property, or if it gets foreclosed on, whoever owns the property after him.
Has to have a restoration plan made.
Otherwise, it's just gonna get lost in the shuffle. It's happened more than once in this town.
How does that work? Do they have to write it into the deed? But they would
Like
have
the
to-
lawyer said, it goes along with the deed.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Who was that lawyer?
Unfortunately, there's a lot of things we can do. But what, it was a year ago that they were being fined and it didn't do anything. So like right now, you're just trying to get blood from the stone, unfortunately. I don't know if that's it.
Which lawyer wrote to you, Sabrina, because they said he wasn't familiar.
Yeah,
Is he from Bacon and Wilson, or is that outside of Bacon?
well, they suggested that we go through the town council.
But who was that
I can't remember the name.
Somebody wrote to me.
Yeah, the email, you sent us the email.
yeah, who was that
I'm
opinion?
glad
the
you
letter.
read it.
Yeah.
Who was that legal opinion from, if it wasn't from the town?
Which email are you talking about?
Hope I didn't
To the same spot we got like. Numerous sites.
Yeah, I have more pictures too.
That's what I'm saying, I don't know.
It's just, you know,
It just keeps.
Iris
happening.
Leahy.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, who was that? Is he with Bacon and Wilson, or is it?
Iris.
Why is he weighing in on this?
Law offices of Leahy, Iris A. Leahy.
Where was he?
Four
we
Open
usually do it
Square
on that
Way.
side.
Down there.
Who see the lawyers?
Only a-
Park here and look down.
That's a big Carl.
Was I CC'd on?
So,
I don't think I got that email.
You sent it out when I was there. They didn't-
Yeah, you sent it to Carl.
Yeah.
Well, they responded back or
well,
something and they
I
didn't.
think it was
include me.
Michelle Hill.
I got the one from Michelle Hill. I got the one from Michelle Hill, but I don't think I got anything after that.
That's the idea.
Isn't it?
Yeah, connected to roads.
It's all got an opinion from the lawyer.
May have.
Right, I want it to be the replication.
It might have been because of the back taxes
I don't know what this is supposed to do.
that she sought an opinion.
Future sewers.
I don't know.
Um,
Is
Electrical bolts.
that right? Wow. What's that?
Can't find it.
So can we do that? Do an enforcement order requiring
That's supposed to be-
replication restoration plan or?
That's electrical.
Well, one, that's
I
probably.
think that's,
communication.
I have to figure out the square footage of how much.
well, you, right.
So-
That's-
And here's where I'm trying to find some photos. I walked,
It's supposed to.
Right, it's a bylaw.
here's an open space.
They'll have to buy a new town over there. For the space.
So I walked through the open space and took images of, so this is the stream. Let me try to zoom in. And you can see the sediment all throughout here. So it's a lot,
Question.
a lot.
So the purpose of bonding is if we get, is, when does it get to the point where we can use the bond money to do the restoration? Isn't that the
question.
purpose of of making? sure
Was it
we post
$10,000 bond on
I
that?
don't know, but this is
It's
why a
10,000.
project of this scale should have had a $50,000 or $100,000 bond, which is the point I made.
Absolutely.
You know, it's probably only 10,000, because that's all that was ever asked,
Yeah.
but on a big subdivision like this,
It should have
that's,
been a lot more.
10,000 is not, nowhere near that.
So his extension is also up, I think, in February. Cause we only extended it for a year.
But I'm just asking, when does the town have the right to say,
That's a good question. It's a
When-
complicated process. to
I don't know
actually
how that
go
works,
through
I'm just
that.
asking.
We did that with Lexington Circle when they didn't finish the project there. It took quite a bit to get the bond money released, but you can get that information from the lawyer. They'll tell you.
It's probably still not gonna help, 'cause it's not gonna be enough
You
to
know,
fix
ask
what we
the
have
lawyer
to fix, but.
what it would take to get that bond money released.
The lawyer that sent the email or just,
Our lawyer, our town council. First, you gotta go to Carl, ask for permission to contact town council and say what it's for. He knows if there's a problem there.
Yeah, he's aware.
so the process on how to obtain that bond
Yeah.
essentially?
It's probably a relatively simple first step where you put like the intention of attaching the bond, which kind of holds it, you know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna give them a notice of intent, like, hey, we're gonna attach the bond, which kind of locks the bond in now. Like, it's kind of like putting a lien on the bond.
The lawyer does that.
Yeah. And then
Different
they go through
steps,
the
yeah.
process of getting the
Right.
money, but first you're like, you.
First,
wanna
we gotta,
know
yeah.
We're coming for it, so there's probably a relatively simple step for that. Until the air is cleared. The decision whether they can
I'm
release it
trying
or not.
to,
But in the meantime, I'll help you work on that enforcement order for the
Thank you, Dennis.
replication.
This has been going on for so long, it's like.
At the next meeting, we'll
Yeah.
invite him here, we'll bring in the enforcement order, hopefully have information from our council, town council on the bond money.
so
If it's a real bond or if it's, if it's
Mhm.
just, junk bond,
Like a surety bond, what do you mean,
surety.
a surety bond or whatever? it is?
so the enforcement would be on. Do we have to I mean, you said you would help me,
Yeah,
but do we have to specify in certain things that
the
he's,
square footage and all that, yeah. We'll have our Stinson review it for us before we actually issue it, make sure the DEP will back us up on it.
okay. So, I don't know if this means anything, but anytime I would contact Jesse and say, hey, like, when I contacted, I think it was you and some other people on the commission said, could you check this out? I also talked to Jesse and I said, hey, there's some issues. Can you go out there and, do what you can and fix it?
Yeah,
He was very responsive and he did go out.
it hasn't done any good whatsoever.
Okay,
The mains that he did, when I went out there, the big rainstorm, the silt fences were half-assed, everything was done, there was big piles, big mounds of where they just dug up roots and left them there. Everything has been done just enough to say I did something. So I forget about, invite Jesse to the next meeting, but trying to work with him hasn't worked out.
No.
Don't
The
you?
only way to stop some of this is the road to be curbed and put topsoil and lumen seed all these disturbed areas. I mean, that's why you're getting all that red
Yeah.
water, you know, you need to
Mhm.
topsoil and seed it, even if you're not gonna touch it, just, or you have to dig it up again, seed it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
get to the ground. It's too late now. I think that's what was discussed a year ago. This time it was too late because it was fall. But the only way to stop all that dirty water is to get grass growing.
But we'll put that in the enforcement order also. Loam and seed, no bare earth areas.
Right.
Including the open space area across the street,
Everything.
right?
Including everything.
I mean, I know it's not our job to tell them how to fix a problem, but that's.
Yeah.
How to stop it.
So there was also, something that we discussed back in February, well, it was also prior to February. He had spread some fill, in the area, I guess you call it the western part of the resource area. And in that fill, there were large chunks of construction debris,
Unclean fill.
essentially unclean fill, yeah.
Mhm.
And for sure in the February 6th meeting, we had said like, it needs to be sifted out. And Jesse had said he was going to sift it out. So I went there last month, maybe a couple weeks ago. And there were like piles of large pieces of stuff, construction stuff, which I had thought was just kind of being exposed because of the rain. It turns out that, they had started to sift the area, just not up to the resource area. And, cause they are starting to work on the road. My issue was that they didn't sift the whole thing. So I'm pretty sure I also brought this up to Jesse's attention. He hasn't really said anything.
Yeah. Did you get in touch with the solid waste, division of the,
They said that we had enough teeth where we could handle it.
we'll call them again. And tell them to get their asses out there. The guy parks right behind the police station, I mean.
What's his name again? Jay? Yeah.
But anyway, we should
Yep.
move along here.
We're looking at, possible violations. Again, 21 Noble Steed, is that the other one that was,
Yeah, so this is,
when you were showing us?
yeah,
Talk to the neighbor or to the?
so this is the neighbor. Let's see if I have, So it's lot 16. It's up on the screen right now. There is a wetland, a delineated wetland, to the western portion of the lot. With that is the 100-foot buffer, which is right where the, mouse is. So over the course of, I guess a couple of years, let me just go to another,
Did you contact them?
not yet. So this was an image taken maybe in 2022. It's not the most up to date. They actually have a house right here now and they've cleared, right up to this area. So it's alteration of buffer. I went out there, a couple weeks ago and took some pictures. Let's see. So the resource area is right here and here's the cleared portion. They do have a silt fence, I'll give them that. There's one with a property pin. So here's the property pin right here. And then you can see the cleared area over here and the resource areas right around here. So
Yeah, if you contact these people, sometimes they don't even know that they're in violation. Like that's why I say potential violation.
I did change that today.
Don't say, because it's not a violation until it is one.
Yeah.
But if you contact them, I mean, I've had people invite me into their backyards and say, so in fact, that's how I met Matt.
Right.
I didn't invite you, but you know.
No, most people are,
20 years ago.
What did I didn't know.
So is that riverfront or that's just a resource area? So they gotta be 50 feet. not 100.
BBW?
It says, bordering vegetative
So-
wetland, however, it looked like an intermittent stream where I was standing, but it's still 100 feet, so it's not river, it's not, perennial.
200, all right, so.
I don't think it's a perennial.
But so what I'm saying is, well, do we have jurisdiction on the 50 or the 100?
100. Usually let them go up to the 50-foot line and
Oh, okay, but
Probably-
it's still permitted through the 100, anything with the
Right,
100.
a lot of
is still
times we have
permitted.
people put markers out there, like when
Yeah,
they start to
yeah.
develop a property, so that they do know
Yeah,
that's the stuff.
monuments. Yeah, instead of going
Boulders or
right to
something.
violation, start with the, talk to them nice.
Excuse me, what am I looking at? Okay, so that's that,
16 Berkshire Avenue.
Norm, you wanna take this one?
Yes, there is a retaining wall at the shoreline that has been built. There was some cement there before that I think was damaged when a tree fell from a neighbor's house.
Who's-
And all the work is done to remove the cement. And a very nice retaining wall has been replaced. And they didn't have any permissions. But here's the retaining wall that's up there now. See, it's right on the shoreline. They had a bobcat in there moving dirt and taking the cement blocks out. You can see over here, the worker is still working.
You're not sharing, I'm sharing, do you want me to,
Oh,
I'll
It's the
stop.
same picture.
I mean, it's the same two pictures that you gave me.
Okay.
So here's the
Yeah,
bobcat
something
he
like
was
that.
talking about.
I-
Silt fences. So fence is up.
Yeah.
And then this was taken on the 4th of this month. So a tree did fall into their yard. I'm assuming that it damaged whatever that they had to begin with. So a tree, yeah, so remember it was 18 Berkshire,
Yeah.
a large tree had fallen
Looks like the
into
big-
his yard.
All brand new.
That's all new.
Do we know who installed it?
No,
And you sent them a letter, right?
nope, not yet.
Or you haven't sent it yet?
I wrote it.
Okay. So this is part of the problem that I stated last week, you know, we have things surface and Sabrina's so busy, she can't do it.
Yeah,
right.
24 hours.
She needs more hours.
I do have the letters ready to be signed and sent tomorrow, though. I did do that. But it's taken me a few weeks to write it up and.
Probably the situation you mentioned where they weren't aware they had to get permission to do this.
True.
So do you think you should contact them first or just write them a letter to
Well, I think we should send the letter out,
send the letter out?
see
Yeah.
what they have to say,
Mhm.
you know.
And they probably just figured they were replacing something that was already broken and didn't think they needed to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I find out who the installer was. and
Right,
that
he was-
From the right act, you
You
know,
would think they would know.
they should know anybody that does that kind of work.
Yeah. Maybe the owner will tell you that when you respond to the letter.
So,
All right, move on.
Okey dokey.
Down to 142 Berkshire Avenue.
42 Berkshire, do you have any of those photos?
I do, I came prepared this time. So, we'll do the previous
Yeah,
photo
last
from,
year
so this is last year. They had gotten, an emergency, actually two emergency certifications, to remove two large black oaks. So this is one of the large black oaks and just see right here where it's standing, that's within our
That was
jurisdiction.
August of last year. Okay. So if they got the emergency certification, that means they were within 100 feet.
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay, now show the picture for this year. Okay, those trees were inside that fence that's there. And
What is beauty?
when you go on the town GIS map, far corner, far left-hand corner of the house is about 108 feet from
Oh, yeah.
the lawn. The only thing they did work on this side of the house, the lake side. I believe is definitely a potential violation of being within 100 feet.
Looks like those stairs need some work too, huh?
That's probably the next project. I
Yeah.
got.
Yeah, I mean,
Contact them, let them know that, doing those stairs, but.
well, last year when, cause I went there with Randy Brown, and with a few other, I actually went there, I think like 3 times. And they are aware that they're supposed to be filing if they're going to be doing any work within 100 feet. Cause they had mentioned how they wanted to redo the stairway in this whole area. But that was last year. They did this,
Oh, what
so
is it with the fence that they put up? Like,
it's a fence,
Well, I think they extended
the deck.
the deck as well.
it's really hard to tell.
You can't tell now.
Uh,
Covered,
maybe an aerial,
Drone.
field.
so. But once again, get in touch with them, see if you can get out there and talk to them. You already know them, they've already got a good rapport.
They were
Yeah,
supposed to be on the call, I'm not sure,
Yeah, probably dropped off.
maybe. Let me just make sure I'm not ignoring anybody with their hands up. I don't have stop share. Is there anybody on call for this? I guess not. Okay.
Oh, excuse me. Are you talking about for the 141 North Lake Avenue?
No, 142 Berkshire Ave.
Okay. We're on for the 141. Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Or did we skip that?
Yeah, I guess we did.
Whoopsies. Sorry,
It was the one
skip.
above that.
Whoopsies.
Oh,
I circled it prematurely.
is that Goldberg?
Yeah.
141?
Okay, so we can go there now. So we have, you're gonna
So,
talk to.
write a letter, stating there's a possible wetland violation.
Right. Okay, now we'll go to 141 North Lake Ave, the LPP deck permit revocation. And-
You guys have something in your folders.
You sent the letter.
I did send a letter.
So we
Here's, okay, yeah.
erroneously issued a, permit for that dock, correct?
So permit was, through the LPP, a permit was issued for this,
Yeah, it shouldn't have been, but
but it was.
it slipped through the cracks.
Yep.
Yeah, because of the ownership of property. Is that the?
Goldberg's been trying to get the dock out there ever since I known him, and he figured it'd be some new people, maybe that wouldn't remember.
I guess it worked.
No, what happened?
Mr. Geary of the North Pond Association said that he had permission to adopt
Permission?
association properties.
Where's the association property?
He's on there.
This is not on the, this is towpath.
I think they also have that property as well. I think Dick said they also have that property.
No, they do not.
They do not.
They are actually on the association property.
No,
No, that's what I'm saying. The association property owns where Mr. Goldberg put his dock.
No,
Correct.
no,
No.
he does not.
no.
It's part of the towpath.
I think they, in the maps, it shows what they do. I think it goes up to his, past his,
Is Dick
association.
still on the
You know,
call?
the Hinky is, got
Yeah.
granted from the association when they had the big lawsuit.
Yes.
Mhm.
Do you want me to bring up a map
Yes.
so we have something to look at? Oh, wait, what am I doing? Sorry, habit, just to go straight to the Concom. So we will just search 141 North
Oh, wow.
Lake Ave. And we'll just go straight to Goldberg, even though that's not where we're looking at. So
Yeah, that's true.
well, the strip is broken into 2 parcels, so
Yeah.
might just, yeah. So here's definitely the association. Oh, can you guys see what I'm looking at?
Yeah.
No.
On Zoom, let me just share sharing. Okay, and. Right, okay, now can you see
Yes,
a map? So it says 7 North Pond Road, so this for sure is owned by the North Pond Views Homeowners
Okay.
that's correct.
Association, okay. And then the parcel in question, I believe, is this one just below it, which
Um,
I actually think is also owned by the association, from my understanding.
No, number
just-
17
No,
is not
no.
ours.
And this, no, that's part of the towpath.
Oh, that's the towpath. That's owned by nobody, obviously, because we can't find out who the owners are.
Which number's Goldberg's on there?
So Goldberg is it this one?
Mhm.
141. Do I have, is there a map of where he put the dock? Cause I believe it's on the,
Picture.
it's on where they call the
It's on
tow.
17.
On the towpath.
It's on 17. If you look at parcel 17,
This,
yes,
Yes.
it's in between,
so it's on the
That dock,
shoreline
yep,
right here.
right there.
In
Oh,
between
so
the
he
two.
doesn't have it on the association property then.
It's not on.
Okay.
No, you can see a line that says where the,
So whoever's speaking and whoever has just spoken, can you just please state your name and address?
Michael,
State your name.
Michael Rucho, 28 Castle Street. I used to live at 139 North Lake Avenue.
And I'm Rick
Okay.
Anderson, and this is my wife, Wanda Anderson. We're at 137 North Lake Avenue. And that's parcel 17.
Okay.
So it's
So
right in
you-
front of
So
your
it's
house.
right-
Your
yeah.
house.
yes.
That's us, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And I believe I was at 16,
Yes,
parcel 16. Rick, yeah,
yes.
that's me. There's my
There's a
car.
Okay,
That's me.
Okay,
so just before you talk, can you just state your name again
Each time.
throughout the conversation? Cause we can't see your faces.
Right, sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Michael Rucho, and I did live at 139 North Lake Avenue. I now reside at 28 Castle Street.
Okay.
all
So
right.
what's your statement about this?
Rick and Wanda were my next door neighbors, as well as Lyle Rotundo. And when I went over to see what was going on, because they're still my neighbors, and as well as Mark and Neil DeHinke, the dock was put basically right in between Rick and Wanda Anderson's property and Lyle Rotundo's property.
Parcel 17 and 18.
Yes.
Okay,
Rick Anderson talking, yes.
Hi, Rick. How you, Rick? Nice to
Hi,
hear
Mike.
your voice.
so you're both stating that it's on the towpath instead of the association parcel.
Absolutely.
And this is Rick Anderson, and I know Norm Cheevers and Dick Reynolds. Both were on site to verify the location of the dock. And I believe they're on this call.
I don't know if Dick is still.
All right, so the permit was issued on the,
It was
Another
issued
property
for
was
one
not
property,
on,
but
so-
put on another.
so the permit gets pulled and it doesn't get issued again.
Well, on the permit, it doesn't even state where he was going to put the dock.
Yeah,
Correct.
Doesn't
If you-
surprise, it doesn't surprise me.
the permit gets
Yeah,
pulled.
we're gonna pull the permit for sure. And
Yeah.
if permission was given by the association, it would have to be on the association property.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I know Mark Garrity, and he was not very pleased that his name was used as far as you putting a dock down there.
And said absolutely not. He did not agree to
And
that.
there is an email that states that.
Written
Okay.
one.
Wickham one.
We'll definitely need more verification next time and we'll be definitely.
Hey,
keeping an
Mike,
eye
this is
on it.
Dennis talking, Dennis Clark. Mike,
Mike.
this is Dennis Clark talking. How you doing?
Hey, Dennis, I'm doing well. Thank you for popping in because you know what the situation has been down there for years.
Yeah.
You know me, and I don't usually stick my nose where it doesn't belong or talk bad about people because it's just not the way I am. But I gotta, where this guy put this dock is just.
I think we got a good idea and we got it under control now. We
Yeah.
appreciate
That we,
appreciate your input, Mike.
so I think we're.
And honestly, I just purely by coincidence, I happened to be there when Norm and Dick had showed up for the inspection. I was over there visiting my old neighbors, and out of control. And you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we got it.
Yeah, we're all set.
We're all set on that one.
Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate your input.
Oh, absolutely. And again, Rick and Juan are just awesome people. I mean, as soon as they moved in,
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay.
we're instant friends, and you know the trouble I've been gotten into by the other neighbor. It's but
We won't go into that tonight, but
thank you very much.
So,
I appreciate that.
Thanks so much. Okay, we're gonna move on to
I think we should do another motion on that one.
What was the answer to that, please? This is one.
We already sent the letter out.
Well, that was from Sabrina.
Yes.
Right.
Now,
I also have a question after.
but I
that.
think we should send one from the Conservation Commission saying it'll be removed in 2 weeks. Or it'll be started, the fine system will cut in.
Okay.
And also echo the point that next year, we will not be allowed to have a dock in this location.
You make a motion.
And that's my
And
motion.
this is Wanda speaking, can I add that he also ripped up the towpath and we're responsible for that as far as we know. So he needs to clean that up.
Unfortunately, that's not under our purview right now, but.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor? We'll go Kevin.
Aye.
Aye. Matt, Jerry.
Aye.
Chris, aye.
Nor I.
Andy, aye.
Okay.
Dennis, aye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
very much.
everyone. Thanks.
So can I ask a question for clarification or should we wait till after?
We'll wait until after. Let's get the show on the road.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna look at a possible wetland violation at 579 Forest Road, Suffield.
Yes, this is the one that we discussed last week, 2 weeks ago.
Are you wanting to share? Do you want to share?
Kenny, you give me permission?
I think anyone has permission to share.
Do you have the other photos of this?
I have, I think the 4 photos, let me just check, cause I loaded my stick.
Connecticut?
Turtle Cove.
Yes.
No, this
We
is
have
not Turtle
people-
Cove.
No?
This
I've
is
got-
by Babsmore.
And are the wetlands in Connecticut also?
Wait a second.
Oh, by the canal,
There are-
Chris?
I think
or-
I put
no,
that in the wrong folder.
It's,
Here's
if
the right.
you're looking at Babs.
It
it's
says
to the
wetland
left.
violation.
Well,
The lake's not a wetland.
oh,
It's a resource area.
Resource area.
I thought the lake was considered, it's under the bracket or the umbrella of a wetland.
so
No.
Okay.
what we've learned is that the person, the wetlands official in Suffield is gonna take care of the erosion around that's in Suffield. He's not gonna take any action or anything at the lake because he doesn't have jurisdiction. Okay, so we have to decide if we wanna force a change in the jetty that he has created. And the jetty is, by definition to the neighbors, is both the rock that build,
Right here.
yeah, and
Oh, I'm not sharing.
anything to
Let me
the right
share.
of that blue line.
I gotta share.
Share that out.
Oopsies. I think that means I, okay, so this is the rock area.
This right here?
That he is built, obviously, some time ago, because it's got vegetation. but he's changed the shoreline further.
We here?
Yes, all that's been altered.
It's been,
What did he do here? What did he do to change it?
He built a jetty.
Oh,
Yeah, you
Changed
say
the way
that, what
the-
did he do here?
Who are you?
yeah,
Oh,
you can
please
just
state
state
your-
your name. Are you the owners of the property?
Your
Okay,
neighbors,
neighbors?
your neighbors.
What's her name?
Your name?
Mary Montori.
Thank you, Mary.
And
You can-
jetty is a problem to you?
Yeah, we just need your name on record, that's all.
we need our address.
Why is the jetty a problem
Oh,
for
she's
you?
succulent.
Because it's changed the
And you-
shoreline of the lake. And I have a problem with weeds and muck. So that I have to, clean out that corner, constantly, every day.
This
in the
one?
summer.
That corner.
Because the water, I think it goes south. And so the sand built up on the south side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So the jetty sticking up out of the water is 14 feet. The land that is built up on his side of the jetty is 9 feet out farther than my land. And it's affected the way the water goes by our house.
Washed our shoreline off to the left. That shoreline used to go almost 18 inches into the water. We lost it all. Water pumping up.
So he's expanded his shoreline?
Yes.
Right.
Quite a bit.
And the jetty's
It
out.
not only pushed out, it's higher also.
Like a little dam.
Oh, it isn't that big.
And that's a recent car.
These guys are signing.
Down.
Hmm?
Are they
All right, I
signing?
think that's what brought our attention to the whole
Did they sign?
thing. That's what brought our attention to the whole thing, was seeing that being done.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, he was out here last week from Suffolk. He did come out.
So Connecticut's taken from the blue line back, is that what you're saying?
That's what he's gonna address that. He said because he has no jurisdiction over the lake or the original lake. That belongs to us.
And the only thing you could do would be to take that dirt out of there, is that
Take the
what?
jetty out.
Well, you can't do anything now.
At a minimum, he's gotta take the rock jetty out.
So, I'm sorry, is this
If
the
he takes the
jetty?
jetty out,
Yes.
the
It's
sand
not really a
is
jetty,
right.
it's-
Isn't it
It's
just a
pillbox.
base for to
Think
put
of
your
it as a
dock?
fill. Can't really call that a jetty, that's a fill. He filled additional off the shore, correct?
Well, it's to stop any erosion from.
It's not from the shore, it's from the water going back.
Yeah,
It's all the sand from the bottom. It gets caught there.
Okay,
So my side is rocks
yeah,
and good,
Okay,
a polite term.
It's like
So-
filling in the floodplain.
so if we tell him to remove the rock jetty, you're satisfied?
Yeah.
Okay,
He already did say he would remove it.
but then he changed his mind,
And then
his
he
wife
did not.
changed his mind.
His
Well-
wife did not want it.
Maybe we can change his mind back.
maybe another letter to
Yeah.
him that just ask him to tell him to remove the jetty and everything will be.
this is in Suffield?
It is in
Well, the
Suffield.
lake is in,
Well,
Yeah,
The
the,
jetty is in Southwick.
there, the water is in
Yeah.
Suffield,
Yeah.
okay,
The jetty, this isn't Southwick.
right.
all right.
So yes, I believe we should send, I'll make a motion that we send a letter to the owner. That he remove the rock jetty.
Or restore it to its original state,
Well, we
And-
would need, yeah.
And remove it?
And restore it.
and restore it to its original state.
or the jetty or the shoreline?
Well, you can't really do the shoreline.
No,
That'll happen naturally.
that'll happen naturally once they remove the jetty.
So let's,
Need a second on that?
Yep.
I'll second.
All in favor, we'll start Kevin again.
Aye.
Aye. Chris Pat, aye.
Norm, I,
Yeah. Dennis, aye.
Okay, that's unanimous.
right?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Still waiting.
I know, it's a long night. This is a.
No, it's very interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah,
We
It all
take,
kind of relates to everybody trying to.
It does, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
okay, we have someone here from South Pond for school.
Yeah, next.
You guys have a packet as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
The,
Yeah, South Pond Four Seasons Association Local Permitting Program complaint against 530 Griffin Road.
we have 530 Griffin Road here as well.
Okay.
Nancy Drury,
Welcome, Nancy.
did you sign in?
I did.
Okay, great. And All right. So yes, in your folders, you have the complaint from Four
Yeah,
Seasons.
I took a look at it, but you know, these are just drawings, unless there's a survey map out there, we can't make any decisions on.
It gets actually better. So, I went to the Suffield Town Hall today and I took his picture,
Yeah,
and if this is 55 feet, he has 50 feet. He has the angle written in a totally different direction. I mean, he's saying that this piece is 50 feet, but if this is 55 feet, then it's over further. So he's making it appear that he has a smaller portion of land than is actually, and I'm a member of the association. This never came up for vote in our association. We knew none of this was going on. The only way I knew was because I happened to read it online. So I'm also a member of the association. I called the other people in the association. They have no idea. We didn't vote on this. We didn't anything.
They came before
Sure.
this commission the past year
They came in December,
and got permission to
Right.
put in a dock.
right?
Okay.
I had had a dock at that location since 2008.
Right.
Right. And my permit was pulled without me knowing, without me coming to this meeting, without me having a voice. It was pulled and I didn't know anything at all. Now, I'm a member of this association. I pay $350 to be a member of this association.
Right.
They never said anything. And it's really tough because we all live there in the same location. We're kind of like on top of it, but his diagram here, this diagram here says that I have 119 feet frontage. On my deed, I have 94. Here's my deed.
without having surveyed.
Yeah, we
plans,
don't.
These are just referencing.
But-
Is there a problem with navigation? Is that why
No.
there's an issue here? They can't put their boat on, the association can't put a boat on the dock, it's just going that well.
And there's
Okay.
not enough room to move.
Now, we have state line is right here, okay? So we have a survey of the state line, and that's the extension of that is available to us,
Okay,
okay, and their dock. And the LPP rules say they're gonna be 25 feet inside the property line. Okay, and the dock is it is maybe a couple of feet,
It is 10 and a half feet from the line.
okay?
And when I did my permit,
Yeah.
I said I would move it 8 feet. And I moved it 10. So this year's dock permit, I filled all the paperwork.
Yeah.
The problem is that by moving my dock, it cost me an additional $1,000
Yeah.
because I had to get a deep water kit.
Yeah,
The dock is at the maximum for the deep water kit. It can't go any higher or lower.
so you're saying you believe that you are
I have a picture to show you.
18 feet now from the property line?
No,
Like you said,
I said I moved it 10 feet over from the property line.
yeah,
So I'm now 10 feet from the property
and
line.
then you said you were gonna move it 8 more?
No, that was it was on the property line and I said I was agreed to move it 8 feet over and I got a permit. It came back to this committee.
You guys have her application where she states she's going to be 8 feet from the property. It's in that packet. It's at the end.
But I mean, he is stating in this letter that I have 100, almost 120 front footage. I only have 94. So this is like something like I don't even know where this map
but
came
even
from.
94, if you didn't have a deep water problem, you could put it over.
I could move it over, but I can't right now. And I had to buy because I'm disabled now. I used to have floating docks, which would have been no problem to move over. But where where my dock was, when I moved it over the 10 feet, of course, it's deeper. So I spent $1,000 getting the rigid posts to go in, and we went from 12-foot posts to 16-foot posts. There is no, and it's so at the max that I actually had to buy cross beams to go on each section at the front, so the dock wouldn't continue to sway.
Not too many people have that problem,
No.
Usually it's the other way
Usually the
around.
opposite.
Right, but we're on a cove, and what he came to this committee and said that I didn't move my boat. So here's the picture of my boat from last year.
Yes.
And you can see in your new picture this year, you can see that the drain is on the opposite side. He's provided some pictures. And,
It's with 4 pictures all in one. It's one of the smaller pictures.
and he's saying that I didn't move my dock at all, which is not
See
true
the
because
drain.
underneath my dock is the drain that comes from here.
I get it now.
Is that-
Is that the
you
state line
take
right
that
there?
dock out every year?
Every year,
Yes.
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah.
So it's, so
I mean, this kind of shows
From-
she's like,
it is really hard to live where I live. Really hard to live where I live.
That's too bad.
It is unfortunate, that
Beautiful spot.
I had to put in, $150,000 retaining wall. That was fun. But the drain was underneath my dock. So if you can see now, the drain is on the outside of the dock. So I did 100% comply with what I was asked to do.
So next year,
Mhm.
could you move your boat to the other side of the dock?
No, I can't because the door's not on that side and I'm handicapped and I can't, I already talked to to move I have to move all the controls and everything. That's where my door is on this side of the dock. But they were supposed to put their dock in the middle of the property. And it's not there. So if they would move their dock, I don't know where my picture went.
I have
Okay.
a drawing.
Are you drawing on her?
That's a.
I was, yeah, just thinking, as I doodled.
So he made it appear, and I don't believe he did it on purpose. I think he didn't realize what he was doing himself. But I'm sitting here going, well, if this is 50, that can't be it. So, I mean, their dock is not in the middle because this garage here is actually on the association property, that corner. So if you go down straight from there, he needs to move the dock over into the middle of the property. There was not a boat that was on this dock at all the entire summer. There was no boat moored on the dock at all.
Right.
I just, here, there's not enough there's only 2.5, like, I can walk well past Betty Ayotte's docks all the way out. It's a cove, so it's really shallow.
So that's so this is too deep and that's too shallow.
Correct. And so I can't
There's
get,
no middle ground in the middle?
well, the thing is,
It does for me.
Well,
Hold on, let me just mute them. I don't know if
I can't move my dock over anymore because I don't have any pole length to move my dock any longer. It's at its max right now.
yeah,
it's
but if you're
16
saying it
feet.
gets shallower in
This-
this
right.
section.
It's over here, but I already paid $1,000 to move the dock and bought all the pieces in good faith that this would be the end of it, but it's not the end of it because it's constant. So it's like, it's really, really, I can't move my dock any more than I move my dock. I can't move my boat to the other side.
You're infringing on the next door neighbor's property. I mean,
Well, I am a member of that association.
So it's all the way
they-
here.
No, this is, I can walk all the way out. I can walk, this is all shallow. I can walk all the way out. I can't, there's not enough
Next year,
poles.
could you put it here?
No,
Why not?
because it's only 4 feet of water. All the way out to almost past my floating dock. Is my floating dock in his picture? You can see where my,
4 feet of water. Yours has got 4 feet.
well,
Right.
I just,
4 feet's a lot of water.
it's, you know, the dock is $9,000.
Yeah,
So now I can't use my, like. This is just and also it's in the rules, it also doesn't say that only Nancy Drury has to move. You know, my neighbor's dock is not 25 feet from the
well,
line
the local
either.
permitting process says 25 feet from your neighbor unless they give you permission. So I mean,
Right.
the association gives you permission, then it's
Well,
okay.
But this is association, this neighbor here is not 25 feet from the line either.
Well, if they
It's-
have permission or not, I mean, that's
Well,
up to the
I'm
association.
part of the association, no permission's
But-
been given either way.
Well, there needs to be a letter for you to have your dock there, is what we're saying. From the,
And I just
Not
don't
gonna
know what
happen.
else. I just don't know what else to do.
yeah,
But
and the association has to grant you permission to,
well, the fact the association brought this to the meeting without the association's permission,
well,
It's-
that's what I'm saying. If
I mean,
if they're, if they didn't
so-
vote on it,
we didn't vote on it at all.
right, that's what I'm saying.
So if we didn't vote on it at all, they represented themselves like they did, like we did have a vote, which is,
Right.
not at all what
No, that's
occurred. That's
true.
not right. You know, just because she is the president and he is the vice president, doesn't give them the authority to make the decision for the association without a vote of due process. So that's what I'm saying. None of this has been done with
But
due
we're not
process.
gonna get into a neighbor battle. 25 feet is 25 feet, and that's what we look at.
I-
If it was 20 feet,
Right.
it'd be, you know,
I can't move,
15 feet, but
so I won't have a dock or boat because I can't move it.
you gotta move it over enough so that.
There's no more pool length to move it
You're
anymore.
gonna have to get some pole length, and if you wanna have a dock out there, you can spend $150,000 on a retaining wall. You can spend a couple of grand on some
No,
pole.
I'm gonna sell.
Well, that's what I would say,
Yeah,
and I'm done.
no, sorry.
Well, I'm sorry you're done, because this is where I intended to be my retirement. You know, had I not gotten severely injured at school, could have had the floating docks, and I would not have needed a dock that was stationary.
But, you know, we're here to resolve issues, not to get into neighborhood
Well,
disputes.
It's not a neighbor dispute. It is the association. I'm a member of that association.
It's,
Well, bring in a letter from the association that grants you permission to be there, and then it's
there you
a
go.
non-issue.
And as well as the person on the other side too.
No.
No, just me.
Just you, because that's the one that's in question.
No,
If
she's
they're-
not 25 feet from the line either. See, it's obvious. Well, thank you for your time.
Sorry, we couldn't help you.
It is unfortunate. You are correct.
So does the association want to speak? I kept muting you, but you can speak now.
Yes, we do.
Okay,
State your
State your
name
name,
and
address.
address.
My name is Giuseppe Scuderi, live at 526 Griffin Road. I am the vice president of the association. And the paperwork that I submitted, through the state, this shows the 3 property markers. I drew a string from one marker to another marker, which is a straight line into the lake, and the Drew property is exactly 26 inches away from the property line. The stones that she's talking about, they are in Connecticut, in the Massachusetts properties. Those are in the association property. Ms. Drew assumes that her property line is where those stones are, which it's not. It's if you look at the map, it's a straight line. There's no markers. It's just a straight line. All we asked her was to move or dock over 10 feet from the property line. That's all we asked her to do. And she says, no, I'm not doing that. I asked her as a favor to please move the dock 10 feet from the property line and everybody will be happy. And this is where we at.
So now we want 25 feet.
So she,
Thanks, Joe. I think we're all set now.
Yeah.
I think we're out. You heard what we
Decision.
told her, right? So we're good to go. Thank you.
Appreciate you coming.
Let's move on here.
Yeah.
This is-
Excuse me? So I did move it 10 feet. And we're still not.
Well, we're not gonna be in the middle of a neighbor dispute. If that 25 feet unless you have permission.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Going on, conservation.
oh.
Back to you.
Back to me, sorry, I'm
Removal of
trying to
trees,
find.
Habitat rehabilitation.
So, right, let me just try to find, so as you guys are aware, over the summer, the police department wanted a few trees removed as well as, some tree limbs that had a rope swing attached to it. Let me just try to.
So they're gonna file something with the commission, request for termination at least?
I have no
Well,
idea.
they have to do that. That's, if they want to do anything within 100 feet of the lake, they have to file with the commission. That's just, everybody in the lake does that.
So
no
you're,
exceptions.
so you guys are saying that the police department needs to file?
Whoever wants to do the work needs to file, at
Okay,
least the request for termination.
Okay.
so police department RDA.
We make everybody else on the lake do it. The town's gotta do it too.
Oh, yeah. It's a rule. It's the rule.
So the commission wouldn't do that.
Is that kind of like a speed limit?
That was accidental. I didn't mean. It's like the guy with the gas,
Oh boy, the next one's continued, Chris.
Okay, continued. Plan of alterations.
Sam West Road is here.
Finally.
What you guys are doing here?
I was wondering why.
I never realized how this. Is.
How what?
Yeah, bears in the yard, something like that.
Bears are cool.
They don't want.
Yeah.
Good.
Today,
How are you?
I
You
think
find
that
it?
is that.
I did.
Okay. You're good, you're good.
That's my other name.
Sure, please, yeah, have dinner.
Okay, what's that?
Dinner?
Oh, no, I can't. I don't have the energy to chew it. All right, Ryan, let's see how quick we can.
You know,
get
you can say we're talking about it.
Getting tired.
All right. So, I think it was a spring contacted Rob a while back, or someone got a hold of us, and asked us to go take a look at potential wetland violation at 31 Sam West Road. So I can, let Jim explain the property history a little better.
Yeah, I just want to be upfront with the whole thing is that, the property is owned by TJ Welch. Okay, somehow in the town, it got under TJ Bartmos. This part. So last year or so, I'm trying to work my way out of the company, so we're dividing things up and we took all the land and put it into two different companies, the business and the land. So what we did is we just took all our taxes on the 5 pieces of property we have over there, gave it to the attorney wrote it up and put it under the new name, Xander Realty, I guess it is, something like that. Unfortunately, the piece of property that TJ owned that was under my name, but he owns, went along with the whole ride. So we were gonna buy this property, and I know you guys were talking about Salt Marsh before, Jesse. He's the guy next to us. When TJ was on Florida, he went over and he wiped out all the trees on the property, on TJ's property, and you're gonna put a solar panel. Maybe some of you guys know about the solar panels. And he came to the town, and the town didn't let him do it. So when you told him he couldn't do it, he left all the trees and everything laying all over the place. 10 acres, 20 acres, whatever it was. So we had a meeting, him, TJ and myself, and TJ said, look, he says, you went on my property, you took my stuff. You're not supposed to do that. He said, this is what we're gonna do. He says, he asked me to get rid of all the wood waste, because I can do that. And Jesse was gonna pull the stumps, level it all off, and do what he did. So 3 years go by, 15 phone calls, 3 visits. So I finally said to him, I said, look, I'll do it, you pay for it, which I kind of knew he wasn't gonna pay for it anyways. But this has been going on for like 8, 9 years, and I did it, I pecked away at it and just tried to level it off. But I did go to both of TJ and Salt Marsh, and I said, look, this area there's no problems with wetlands or nothing. No, it's all set, it's all set. Well, they give me that, but basically, this is the area that's in question right here. And this is, my property goes from here to here, that way. So this did all belong to TJ. He sold this to Salt Marsh, and he owns these 2 pieces. We got first rights of refusal on this one, and we're gonna buy this one if we get this whole thing straightened out. But there was nothing here. There was wetlands here, but there was nothing drawn on this. And this is from Levesque. So we went along with the whole thing, and we didn't realize it until I got a letter from this lady over here. And I started looking at this, and then I kind of looked over here, and it goes partial wetland location map. And I only assuming now that you look at it, this is the portion that they did. They didn't do this one. But TJ and Salt Marsh told me that there was nothing on this part over here. So when we went out to the field to look at it, I said, look, TJ's not doing well. He's helped me in the past. He's kind of sick. if we can make this, resolve this issue and make it go away, I'll do it, even though I don't own the property. You know, see,
Where's the vernal pool?
there is no room.
So I looked at,
There was a vernal pool, that's why TJ kept the property.
No,
That's
there's a pool over here.
Oh, it's up
Yeah, it's
here.
back in Reed's place.
Yeah,
Remember Reed filled it all
okay, so
in?
we're not even close to
No, no,
that.
you're jumping,
Oh, okay.
you're way
All right.
over,
That's a different.
way over there, yeah.
so
Location.
here's TJ Welch's property, this one here, this is Salt Marshes. You can see on this aerial, this was the whole area that was cleared. And
Okay,
they had built a berm on the downhill side to try and, in good faith, keep stormwater from going downhill. However, all the rain this year, it looked like it breached or overtoppled it. And sediment, escaped over the berm or around it, somewhere over here, went down the hill through the woods and then sedimented this wetland area here. That wetland does have an outlet. So does this one over here. This wetland here was unaffected.
is that the rail trail?
Yes, so it
So there's
drains
a
to a
culvert under
culvert
the rail
underneath the
trail.
rail trail. Yep.
That's where the beaver dam was and we.
Yeah, I
removed
think
it.
so.
I think the Beaver Dam is in a different area.
No, it was there.
There was,
That's because they had to go reconstruct the rail trail, remember that
I
it
think
got
that's,
washed out?
I think that's more south.
The pipe got exposed and everything.
I'm not familiar before my time.
Isn't that South Pond? South Pond had a problem like that. I think. Yeah.
But anyway, the wetland that was affected is about 2,695 square feet. I have to bring that, do you have any photos?
I have photos.
So pretty much sediment from that pumping area up above that carried down into the wetland.
I don't know if I showed you guys this PowerPoint. Definitely didn't show Chris or Dennis. This is May 8th. Dave McWilliams and myself took a walk down the rail trail to go check out the area. Okay, so here's like the beginning of where the sediment runoff happens. To the right of that, actually, there's a little pool right here where there are tree stumps and such. This is, so looks like was the stream that we're walking on right now where sediment is flowing. Down over here is where there's this, more sediment. And then this is why I thought it was a vernal pool, because it was filled with, whoopsies, wood frog. You can see little wood frog, tadpoles flying, swimming all over the place. There's tons of them. And it's cloudy. Here they are, all those little black spots are the tadpoles. And then this is on the other side, crossing the culvert. Where it looks at maybe there's sediment that has been deposited down there as well.
Didn't we document that, Dennis, as a vernal pool a long time ago, maybe 20 years
No,
ago?
There was Bob Reed used to have his,
Yeah,
in back of Bob Reed's,
that's where
that was part of TJ's property also.
Oh.
And what happened is Bob brought all his wood waste in there. And it all drained into the pond and killed everything. in the
killed
pond.
everything.
But that's what happened at that pond.
And where's the locks? That's down over here someplace? The locks, where they had the old canal with a.
Oh, no, that's way over
there.
where the vernal pool was. And that's, well, the farmers over in here, that brook that goes through there, they got half a dozen dams over there that they use for.
And this is where Jesse was gonna put the cell tower?
Yeah.
I mean, the cell
Now,
tower.
one thing I do wanna say is, we never cut a tree on that property. We did not cut one tree. So he had Nate Woodger.
Yeah.
Which, subcontractor hired him, so it wasn't Nate that, his deal. Matter of fact, as soon as Nate realized that there was something going on that was fishy, he closed shop and he took off. So everything there that we were cleaning up after Jesse. So obviously.
Was this a brownfield originally, the old TJ's old dump site?
Oh, I did, I really.
That's what they were gonna do the solar arrays, because they were gonna get
he was gonna do the whole thing in,
solar panels.
Yeah, and
And,
that was over a brownfield, that's why.
right, and you talk about pictures, I got pictures of him dumping stuff 20 feet in the ground on the way up like this.
Mm.
And I never went that, I don't know, you call it a brownfield. It's up like this over here. But when I went this way, as soon as I got out of virgin ground, I stopped. I didn't, even though he logged the whole thing, I did not move any place other than with the virgin ground.
So what's the plan?
Clean it up. I mean, we'll just get in there and clean it up and do what we gotta do.
You're gonna-
I mean, as long as it's within reason, I'll do it.
You're gonna restore it and you're gonna buy the property, yeah?
I don't, well, if I do it, I'm gonna stay the hell out of the whole thing. I'm gonna burn it off. I'm not even gonna go in that area.
Just to revegetate?
Let it,
You got any suggestions, Ryan, how to direct this?
I think the wetland area definitely has to be cleaned out, the sediment. So it likely has to be done by hand, just the way all the mature trees are around it and it's pretty wet, so. So that gets scraped out by hand. I'm not sure how you would get it out of there. We just did a similar project in East Hampton. The guy had to hire a back truck. And
Do you want an friendly enforcement order so you can do it under that? And
yeah, that would be the preferred way. Yep.
we get a couple ATVs with the back thing. in the
you heard of
back,
those, right?
back in
Is there
there.
a friendly enforcement order?
Something you got.
So they don't have to file, but it's part of the enforcement order requiring a restoration plan.
Yeah.
And it to be done by a certain time.
Yeah, just tell us what you wanna do. I mean, you don't have to go through
Well, we're just gonna request that you,
Yeah, just tell us what you want, where you want it, how you want it, and I'll send the guys in there and do it.
he's gonna tell us where, how. it's-
Right, we don't,
And then we're gonna say, yeah, it looks good.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
But probably before it gets frozen out there too, would be good.
Oh, you wanna get going as soon?
Well, it's up to you guys. We either can do it before it freezes or after it freezes. But in the springtime, it's gonna get wet.
Yeah, take Ryan, what's the best time? to
Unless
do
we
this?
can peck away at it and just maybe do it until it does freeze.
Now is usually
Because I
a good
got some-
time, but with all the rain this year, it's just as full as it.
We
We
got
could-
some guys now before we lay them
We
off.
could get you an enforcement order as soon as you need one and get you going on this right away.
Yeah,
How
I
long
think
is it good for? Is it good for?
What's
the-
that?
The enforcement order, is it good until
Until
the
it's done and
enforcement's complete
and
or?
then they can come back in and you can grant them another
Okay,
month or
so
a week or a
it's
year.
not really an issue for timing.
I think if we do it now, we've less chance of disturbing the spring frog.
Yeah.
breeding.
Yeah, let's do it now then.
And maybe you could get with, my son down there and you could say, take this, and show the guys what to do.
Mhm.
And that
Yeah,
way
we'll have
there's
to
no-
put together a plan,
Yeah,
closer.
there's no
blown up
mistakes.
and Sequencing what
Yeah,
exactly
that's
has
cool.
to be done.
If you could just get us the square footage and stuff, so we can
Yep.
write that into the enforcement order.
Yep.
Okay, that'd be great.
Super. And we get punished like, because this is a short time.
No, yeah,
I've never
You get
realized there's so
snapped.
many problems with this lake out here. Oh my God.
Yeah,
like.
Holy
no people.
neighbors.
On the planning board in Rustling, we have a bear in somebody's yard once in a while and stuff like that.
That's
You
my
guys got
parents'
some
grew up,
major-
so.
You got some major problems here. Holy mackerels.
All right, so you're gonna issue an enforcement order?
Yeah, apparently so.
Friendly enforcement.
So now. So, how does that go? How long a time does that go? And then we have to, if we don't get it done by a certain time,
We gotta put specific times
Usually
in
it's a,
there.
what, a 30-day, and then after, you
Yeah,
can file
and
for an extension.
yeah,
I think they can do it in 30 days.
We can get a restoration plan done by then, yep, but to actually
so
implement.
have a
the
plan
work.
submitted within 30 days.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, then you can,
and
the guys can get at it. and
have
do
it
it.
implemented within, have it done before the spring, right?
Hopefully it'll be, depends
Be
on
like
ground
chain gang
freezing,
out. Be like a chain gang out there,
Yeah, right.
Okay. We'll help you with that, right, in the enforcement order.
I won't even, I
Might be able
don't
to
wanna have to
scoop
be the one to tell these guys. to get the
Around
shovel
the
and
wood
rake.
frog eggs.
Some of the scouts can come down and help us.
Oh, yeah, that's a possibility. They've done good work before, so.
Yeah, they did. Did you ever finish that thing in back of the town hall?
No, I gotta talk to the Williams about that. see if
Finish,
we're gonna get some-
you could walk down there.
Well, my grandson was one of the scouts.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I know about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, appreciate you coming in.
Well,
Thank you very much.
Volunteering for that.
Trying to go the other direction.
Copy for you. You needed to
It's
discuss.
a long wait for you.
Well,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was,
Is that it?
I will never look at that pond again. This is one of the longest meetings we've had, so.
It was
astonishing.
The issues people have.
Oh.
Yeah, right.
Do you ever have problems other than the farm?
Oh, yeah.
That's your bread and butter.
Well, usually it's not the ponds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Other things?
Yeah,
it's just some.
so.
When you guys said Jesse's all marsh, you know, I thought, oh,
There we go.
it's off in the water for people.
Mhm.
so last week,
Jesse.
you guys had said that, you approved 112 Berkshire,
Mhm.
and.
We got a plan for
there's-
plantings?
Yeah, great.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't we look at that now
There is-
before,
Plantings and two other things you said that were also adjusted
Yes.
there.
So, so three things in total. One was the plantings. We're proposing 5, oak trees.
Right.
So one located here.
You're taking down 5 and you're planting 5. right?
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, one here, 3 there, and 1 right there. So they're on the sloped areas. Second item is we were showing a circular 72-inch dry well. We had to reconfigure that due to what was available. So this is gonna be a shade concrete shallow dry well, 500 gallons. And then the third item is he tweaked the side of the shed he's proposing. So we actually shifted it away from the lake a couple feet. He also wanted to keep the retaining wall height below 4 feet for engineering code purposes. So we shifted this retaining wall around the shed uphill to keep the wall height down. But he did make it a little longer that one. That's it.
all right,
So
This is the
you,
revised Berkshire, is that it?
Yep.
yeah,
112.
So we should just sign this plan approved tonight and add that to
do you
the,
have to vote on it, or is it just a signing?
we can just receive today, approved on today's date. And if the chair signs it, that should be
Right.
plenty.
Purple and everything.
I gave you purple on
All right.
purpose.
The 2 sheets, the second one's a detailed sheet with the updated.
Is the.
16.
16.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Sleep.
You getting out of, you getting out of the business?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Give that scale over there.
We're up.
We haven't done anything with it in, 800. There's everything waiting for the.
Why you get to work? I've got plenty of work at it.
Thank you. Thank you, take care. See you.
So just 2 more things.
Yes.
The stargazers, yeah.
Stargazers, Sopanowski, October 20th.
So, well, Kevin, you wanna talk about what you did on Sunday?
Oh, I just went there and cleaned up the ruts in the tractor.
Okay.
So, and then, yeah, the version of it's in the wood chip and.
Yeah.
There used to be wood chips in there years ago.
Just sort of
They just
degraded.
decomposed, yeah.
So Andy, you can also drop off those wood chips too.
That's what I was gonna ask. Were we gonna
Yeah.
put wood chips in, me, you and me, or you and you?
Well, so they already dumped like a load today, I think, but I can just like, it's Friday when we're having it, right? Or wasn't that?
Well,
So
we'll get to that.
Thursday, I'll just go, whatever wood chips are there, I'll go spread them real quick and that'll be, you know, it.
Thank you very much.
You need more wood chips there?
If you wanna dump some, if you wanna get rid of them, but there's another local company that dumped them there just cause.
You wanted to give away all of this.
If you don't,
So much.
I won't put in the effort if you don't need them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So I did check out the area before Kevin, went and fixed the place up. When I was there, it was last Wednesday, I think, it was very, very wet. It was wet on the trail from the garden to the hayfield. And also our plan B was to go by the pond, and that was very, very wet as well. Like I didn't even want to walk back there. It was so wet. That and the forecast for this weekend's not looking so good. So there's a there's a possibility that we're going to cancel. I know.
Maybe it'll
But-
freeze before then.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, well, maybe after it freezes, we could go back out there and we wouldn't have to worry about it being so wet.
What time is it scheduled for this, I guess?
6 to 9. Yeah.
Saturday?
It's
said
either,
Friday night, right?
yeah,
And
it's either
Saturday.
Friday, Saturday, or Sunday night, depending on what the clouds are
Sunday
like.
might be better.
Sunday's looking like the best, but it's
Yeah.
still kind of like iffy. But it is 5 days out, so who knows?
Right. it could
But like I said, if it looks like it's too wet, I'm gonna cancel it. Cause I don't wanna rip it up anymore.
There was some wood chips that were dumped there before.
I don't know
I
what they
cleaned
are.
those up.
Oh,
that were
good,
there,
thank you.
'cause they were just like in the middle of the grass.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
could
know
tell
where
that people were mowing around them.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on with that. Thank you. So that's the update for that. And then, so back to 13 Berkshire Ave, the property that is
Donated.
possibly going to be donated to the town. I need to know some more details. How are we going to acquire the property? Because, meaning like what type of funds are we going to use? Cause it's going to, we're gonna have to pay for like
How much
closing.
money are we gonna need?
I don't
Oh,
know.
we gotta find that out.
I don't know how, I don't know that.
We gotta ask the
um,
lawyers how much it's, if it's a ballpark, how much town council is gonna charge. We can't write up the total grants or anything without having
Right.
some kind of estimate.
So that's a factor depending
I
on,
read in the paper, the select board approves of it.
Yeah.
They're all for it.
Yeah.
so-
Read that too.
so I'm just wondering, cause we have options, we have. In your packets, you have sort of like a financial report
Budget thing, yeah.
of what
At the back.
conservation has. Those are as many accounts that I can dig up right now. I think those are all of them. The one fund I am looking at is the Conservation Trust, AKA the Woody Fund. That has $13,000 in it. So that could possibly be a way that we could use, we could pay for the closing costs and deed search or whatever it is it costs to acquire a property. But then the question came up, do we want to use CPC funds? So I need to know.
We'll find out how much it is, and maybe we'll use both Woody and CPC. CPC likes it when there's leverage, when they get,
Right, back.
you
A little bit
know,
of-
pay for part of it, they
Right.
pay for part of it.
Okay.
But see if we can find out how much it's, you know, title search or whatever they need to have done. How much the
Yeah.
town council's gonna
And you
charge.
should find
us.
And fundamentally, the purpose is gonna be that it's gonna be sort of a shortcut from the bike trail to the boat launch, right?
To me, it's just to preserve the turtle habitat.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you have gone out there. I went
Kinda
out there.
usable.
It's, yeah.
No, right, yeah, I know.
If
Yeah, plus
anything-
that little cove area, that's a nice place to preserve.
I haven't
too.
looked at it in
Yeah.
a lot of years, but a lot of years ago, it didn't look good.
Yeah,
I don't know, and eventually in the future, maybe we could do something with it, but right now, let's just concentrate on like acquiring the property without complicating the issue.
South side certainly looked like you could have a path, the southern border of it.
did you go and look at it?
Pass it every morning.
You walked, it's pretty wet.
Yeah, but like I say, the south side of it, the north side where the guy's lawn comes right down to it, that's really mushy. I've been in that backyard and it's mushy.
If we find out how much it costs and it's not that much, we can use the Woody Fund to acquire and then use CPC money to do the path and
So
stuff.
Gail thought we could
Do a
park cars
path,
there,
Yeah.
probably for the Big E.
Get the shuttle going. All right. Well, thank you, Sabrina. Thank you, everyone. Does anybody want to make a motion
I make a motion.
I'll second the motion.
There you go.
to?
Adjourn.
Yeah.
Okay, make it adjourn. Good night, everybody.